Hello everyone, welcome to episode something of FPL BlackBox. What episode is it, Mark? 93?
It's episode 93.
93,
yeah.
I did know that. Hello everyone. We're a bit rusty, we haven't been together for ages, Mark. You did one with Luke, I did one with Janny, but we're back, we're reunited. I've missed you.
Yeah.
How you been?
I missed you too. I've been all right. I've been okay. I mean, like, Forest are doing well and, my team's doing better, so things are on the up. How have you been? How was Mexico?
Mexico's very good. Yeah, thank you. Delia played a Mexico drinking game last week where she drank every time I said Mexico. So obviously I said Mexico a lot. Hopefully she's playing Mexico drinking game again.
I didn't log that. I didn't log how many times you said Mexico. Was she very drunk at the end of it?
I believe so. Yeah, I mean, she always is, isn't she? That's Delia in a nutshell.
Can we have a Matoma one every time you mention Matoma?
Oh, he's getting mentioned today.
Oh,
definitely.
dearie me. Delia, get the shots ready for the Matoma drinking game.
Yeah, it's got to happen. We've got lots to talk about. We've had obviously had the big announcement this week. There's going to be another double game week, a blank/double game week, which is quite rare, isn't it? I can't remember too many.
They have been in the past. There have been some in the past, I think, but I don't immediately recall them. But it's quite handy getting that info now, isn't it? I wasn't expecting it until perhaps after the FA Cup tie, which will be tonight, right? But getting it a bit early gives a bit more thinking time. It means we can catch it in this show, of course, which is handy. And yeah, it's given me some more food for thought for 25. Probably means Salah's coming back. Might even mean, I did say Darwin might be in my team once this season. This could be the one occasion. So I'm quite looking forward to it. He's such a wild card, isn't he? Such a joke in the pack, Darwin.
It's fun, isn't it? When you write off a team like Liverpool, then suddenly a double game week gets announced for a couple of game weeks. And now people like Slippers, for example, who have kept on with Salah all this time. I think he's finally got rid of him now,
I know.
Hasn't he? And now he's looking to get him back or something.
Seb
like
had him as well, didn't he? Or Seb still got him.
Yeah.
I think Seb might have Darwin as well. I watched the Scoutcast this week. For those who held on, this is their reward, isn't it?
It's
good. We'll see.
Yeah, we will see. Yeah, and also we're recording at 7. It's currently 7:14. In 45 minutes, the United Leeds game is going to start. I think we will. We both have Rashford triple captain, so we'll be cheering him on. We both have Shaw. I've got Martial, who's not in the squad. And you've got a certain Bruno Fernandes.
Do you get a sub for Martial, or did he play?
I get Kulusevski with his 3 points.
Okay, well, that's better than nothing. But it's all right.
Yeah, it's all right. But
so it's safe to say we should keep our green arrow, shouldn't we, with our triple captain? So we'd be fine.
I'm concerned about Bruno though. It was difficult to work out how I could have got to him, and in the end, I couldn't without selling probably Martial and Kane and taking a -8 and all that. So I've just got to hope he stays a little bit quiet. But anyway, we will get onto that in just a second. Before we do that, we have a sponsor for this episode. As you all know, we have sort of different sponsors across these. We have a laugh with Manscaped. We have the kind of usefulness with Nord. But one that I'm really proud that we're sponsored by is BetterHelp, who are a kind of a licensed online therapy app. So, they're basically offering different ways for you to speak to a therapist. I mean, lots of people prefer face-to-face, but more and more therapies are heading to virtual over Zoom or even through calls, text, through your phone as well. I've said before on this, the FPL community is amazing with things like mental health. There's lots of people who reached out to me when I was going through some stuff last year. I've had conversations with lots of people online as well, but really the FPL community isn't really the best place to get your kind of therapy from. So turning to kind of actual verified therapists is definitely the way to go. So what's good about BetterHelp? Well, it's got all the benefits of in-person therapy. It's more convenient because you can access it anytime, more accessible and more affordable. It's the world's largest online therapy service and has matched millions of people with professionally licensed and vetted therapists, and is all available 100% online. All you do is fill out a brief questionnaire, you match with a therapist, and if things aren't working out, you just switch to a new therapist online. Could not be simpler. So, if you're feeling stuck, get yourself unstuck. That's their tagline. With BetterHelp, you can save 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/blackbox.
Brilliantly done, Az.
Thank you very much.
You're very true about the FPL community. I've only have to hint at like the slightest. Even when I have a bad game week, people like jump in my DMs and say, "You all right, Mark? You're okay." It's crazy how much support you get for that. But you're spot on. You need to go to experts for it. But it is great the way the community are there, always, if you show any kind of sign of weakness or fragility, there's so many people out there to help, which is great.
It's amazing because it gets a bad rep at times, but I can speak from experience when I say that it is an amazing place that kind of rallies around. I mean, everyone was concerned when you were 5 million in the world, and
so was I.
and worried about you, but I mean, look, I think the main thing is when you start using FPL as like a crutch for more pressing problems in your own life, that's when it becomes an issue. But FPL is a great game. The community is amazing. But if you're struggling, do seek help, whether it's BetterHelp or any other therapist that is maybe more suitable for you. But BetterHelp is a great option. Right, excellent. That was a very serious one. But I was
going to say, you know what? I think that we've done a lot of good on that front as well, given how badly we've done this season. Well, exactly. And yet we're still here smiling, aren't we?
Exactly.
So in terms of FPL, we've hopefully helped a few people who have struggled this season.
Hey, you're up to the lofty heights of 2 million now.
Well, there you go. You never know. I've halved my rank in the last couple of weeks, so I reckon I'll be top 10k in about 7 or 8 weeks, and then I would have won it. I'll be number one by Gameweek 38. I don't know. I haven't done the calculation. Damn, there's probably smarter people out there than me who are doing it right now on the fly going, no, your actual rank, if you halve your rank every week, is it?
Well, we can come to you. I mean, amazingly, we're both on exactly the same score this game week. So we're going to come to you first because you've got Fernandez to come. So I imagine you're going to, unless Fernandez gets less than 3, you're going to end up with more points than me. But do you want to just talk through your team? 79 points, another green arrow. You must be happy.
Yeah. Very happy, after last week. I think I came 47k in the game week last week, which was the best I've ever done by some margin all season. That got me up about 800,000 places. And then this week so far, I've got 144k for the game week. Kepa in goal with a 10, that's key. I mean, Kepa's been ridiculous, hasn't he, since the restart?
I'm so glad that because I didn't start with him after the restart. Remember, I was saying he wasn't that good and things, and I realised the error of my ways and brought him in. And we're going to be talking about keepers later, but he's an absolute machine at the moment.
Absolutely. I mean, we kind of said before the restart there he was a standout keeper at 4-5. You had your doubts, but you still went with him. You were so close to not going with him. That would have been very, very fun.
I went with Warden. Right. I went with Warden.
Oh, did
Iverson,
you?
Didn't I?
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you made the change in time.
I made the change. Yeah. A couple of weeks later.
Yeah. But brilliant. Kepa 10 points, which is he's getting the save points and the clean sheets. Trippier 2, which Trippier's awful, useless. 2 points. What's going on? Your boy Estupinan with the 6. Finally, I can pronounce that now. Estupinan. I keep saying it because I like saying it. Once you know the pronunciation, you like to keep saying it, don't you? Estupinan with the 6.
I read it last. I don't know why we kept calling it Estupinan because it's not even spelled.
Yeah,
like that.
I know. But commentators call him that as well. Some commentators do. Yeah. It's Estupinan. Shaw with the 5, but obviously plays tonight. Rashford with the 36 so far plays tonight, of course, and then Bruno with the 10 on penalties, as we saw, plays tonight. Saka with 2, Odegaard 2, and Eddie with 2, which is a disappointment this week. Going into the Everton away game with those 3, I really fancied it.
Got dyched.
Yeah, I did get dyched, but I'm still very, very happy with those 3, as we'll see later on. Haaland 2 and then Mitrovic 2 as well. So to be honest, bailed out by Kepa and Estupinan. Say it for the 8th time tonight. And of course the United boys. A lot of 2s, and I think I saw a lot of teams like that. Joe Portland said it's a stupid yan. Oh, I thought I could do it.
You're so confident as well.
Anyway, who's Joe Portland? Is he the expert on? Is he like the Niger language expert? No, Aubameyang. Yeah,
that's good.
I've been practicing. That's what the restart was for. I just sat in a room practicing the mispronunciations. So there are a lot of 2s. A lot of 2s about in many people's teams, aren't there? And of course, like most people go, well, everyone's got Shaw, Rashford and Bruno, but it's not quite true. And then, of course, not everybody's triple captain Rashford. So the triple captain, Kepa and Estupinan, are the ones that really have made the difference for me. But I'm very grateful for that. So very happy with the team going forward as well, the structure as well as the players. So things are really looking up, which is bizarre.
Well, things are good with your team until you come to your bench, which features a player not even in England anymore.
Well, I
a
saw
goalkeeper
that,
you're never going to play because you've got Kepa, who's the best goalkeeper.
Well, I'll play him in a double game week, won't I?
And you'll probably get burnt by it.
Well, I hope not. I hope Ederson would outscore Kepa next week. But yeah, I mean, Doherty's got to go. But I mean, there's some people out there with Cancelo, and that's a very expensive person who's not in the country. So at least Doherty's only, 4-6. So, and he can't go down in price. So it's not super urgent. But he will go for, I'm sure we're going to look at like budget defenders tonight in the light of like the Wolves and Everton double game week. He will go probably for an Everton or a Villa defender. The reason why I say Villa is because they play in 25 and 28. And as we're going to see, I'm sure you're hosting, so I don't know what we're going to see, but I think we're going to see. I think we're going to look at
seat.
Those double game weeks. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Just give us a shout out in the comments if you were one of the very unfortunate James holders, because we talk about you having Doherty, obviously Cancelo. Some people are struggling to get rid of because they're moving for Arsenal midfielders and City players and stuff. But I saw people holding Reece James after that injury all this time, and they play him against Fulham, and he goes off at 59 minutes and they keep a clean sheet. That's bad, isn't it?
I did chuckle a bit because I've been on the receiving end of James last season. Awful. I mean, I had such a terrible run of luck with him, and so it was kind of like, I'm not the type of person to go on Twitter and say, "Oh, James off 59, inject." I mean,
you got burner accounts for that.
Yeah, but I did in the privacy of my own lounge watching James go. I was looking at the time, going, "Oh, I can see Aspila." Oh God, I'm pushing my luck on with the Aspilicueta. I saw Aspilicueta warming up, and I thought, "Oh, he's coming on. Is James going to make it to the 60?" And I was looking at the clock, going, "Now it all depends when the ball goes out." And of course, the ball went out, and there you go, 59 minutes 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So pain, and I know your pain, those who suffered that, but I've had my fair share, so I did have a chuckle.
Martinelli as well, did he go for? He went at 58.
Yeah,
58
he went
minutes.
58. Yeah.
Brutal. Yeah. Anyway, my team, same as you, 79 points. Kepa in goal. My double Newcastle defence finally conceded to West Ham. I had a feeling that was going to happen with Gomeris not in the side. It's going to be interesting to see what happens to them for a couple of games that they haven't got him for. So Trevor and Botman with 2, Shaw with 5. De Bruyne, oh my God, benched again. We'll talk about him in a bit. Bit of a nightmare. Rashford, the triple captain, Odegaard with 2. Mitoma scores again.
Knock it back, Delia. Knock it back. That's the first one.
Unbelievable. Header. Who'd have thought he'd have got a header? 86th minute or whatever it was. Absolutely incredible.
Crazy, isn't it? He's finding a way. And props to you for writing that article on Scout weeks and weeks ago about him. Straight after the restart, you called it. And, you've got to feel for those who went Solly March. Johnny.
I can't believe people went for Solly March over Matoma personally.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's the kind of one. I mean, March's stats are still good. You never know, but if there wasn't this blank coming up, I'd probably be urging people to make the switch to Matoma. But it's one of those ones where it's going to be hard to get him at the moment because you're going to be targeting the doubles.
You can't do it though with 25, can you, with a blank? I mean, he may well have a double either in 26 or 27, but at the moment we don't know that. And I think it's a bit... It's a real problem, isn't it? Because if you haven't got him up to now, you've missed a lot of points and you can probably, not do it. But it is silly, isn't it, how sometimes we go, no, there's a blank in 17 game weeks time, so I'm not getting that player. And it's like, hasn't quite been that extreme, but it is a little bit like that, isn't it? No.
I like the voice as well.
But it is, you get wrapped up in this double and blanks, don't you, sometimes? And you just like completely bend your transfer strategy according to that, rather than go, which players do I think will get most points?
Yeah.
But
I was saying to Gianni last week, I got him in when I was in a bit of a Mexico bubble, and I didn't even think about the blanks. And then it was only like a week later when everyone was like, "Oh, who'd moved from Matoma? The blanks coming." I was like, "Oh yeah, the blanks are coming up." I don't know. It's tricky. I mean, he's had 5 attacking returns now in 6? Is it, or something like that, or 5 in 5? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 5 in 5. 5 attacking returns in his last 5 games, and the FA Cup as well. So 6 in 6, including the goal. Like an unbelievable return. Someone's just described it as the new Almiron in the chat, which isn't far off.
Well, yeah, but Almiron's dropped off, so do you see a regression coming?
No. We're getting Champions League, Mark.
He won't keep this up.
We're getting Champions League. He's going to take us to Europe, and we're going to be playing Real Madrid at the Amex.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing him in the flesh at the City Ground in a few months' time.
Yeah, you better not bail on me this time.
No chance.
Okay.
I'm
got double books with. Where did you go? You went to like.
You're being packed back home with a defeat, so I'm not. I'm not missing that. No chance.
It's a worrying game actually. You're doing. We're going to talk about for it in a bit actually. Just to run up my team, I had Haaland up top and Martial, who's been an absolute disaster. I can't.
It's so strange. It's not like him to let us down, is it?
I bought him in game week 17. He got me a goal against Forest, and then he's blanked in every single other match. And when I needed him for the double, after him finally regaining fitness and scoring in the cup, he gets injured again somehow and doesn't play.
The cruel thing was that goal against Forest in the FA Cup, because there was no question you would have sold him. And then he gets that goal, and everyone who owned him went, maybe I should hold on for the double now, because that's so cruel.
Isn't it?
That is the really painful thing.
Welcome to FPL. That's how it works. The follow-up player I want to mention is Kane, and we're going to be talking about him in a bit. I mean, he was fantastic for me before the restart. I then went into the restart and didn't have him, and then got him back. And these steady points he's getting, he's not hitting huge double-digit hauls, but he's only blanked in about 4 or 5 game weeks all season. And, a lot of people have sold him. Maybe it's a make weight for Bruno. De Bruyne has been shifted out for Bruno as well. Now people are moving Bruno back to KDB, but I'm not seeing too many people moving Bruno back to Kane. For example, it's a very good game at Leicester, who are bottom of the defensive data as a spoiler for the defensive data.
Of all the players I'm coveting, Kane is the one that I fear the most. It's strange though, because yes, he has been consistent, but he hasn't been explosive, has he? But he's threatening it, and I think he's had a couple of big returns recently. Got a bit of a cold there. Was that a Mexican hangover?
Yeah, I'm kind of fighting something. I'm all right. I'm just, okay. When you just feel a bit run down. I'm all right.
Yeah.
Don't mention it. I'm trying not to think about it. But you might.
You're not building up for a new sponsorship with Nurofen next week, are you? Okay.
That's a good idea, actually.
Oh dear! Why do I give you these ideas? Yeah, I mean he's got a return. He's got a 16-point return in game week 19, which is 5 game weeks ago. That's his biggest return of the season. Before that, he'd only hit double figures 3 times. But it's been the consistency that's really been the key, hasn't it? And so, yeah, I mean it's been said many times. In any other season, he would be in our teams. There's no question. But obviously, with Haaland about, we've been distracted in terms of our funds and our attention. And I think also, we gave Salah the benefit of the doubt, and I held on for him for a long time. Then I've moved to Bruno, but others moved to De Bruyne. So that it's been that midfielder for that second premium slot. But some have moved to Kane. Now the issue with Kane now is because Liverpool have that double in 25. Obviously, people are looking at Salah again, and if you've got Kane, going to Salah is going to be tricky. It's probably 2 transfers rather than just, or 4 transfers if you want to move away from Salah after that as well. So that's the reason why I'm not going to Kane, probably. I could afford it in 2 moves. I could downgrade Doherty and then go Mitrovic to Kane. I could do it for a 4-point hit this week, but because of 25, I'm not gonna A, use transfers or take a hit for a player when in 25 we're probably going to want Salah. So again, it's those dastard blanks that are diverting our attention away from probably what we should do.
I've got to be honest, I'm happy with De Bruyne, Kane and Haaland triple like that, because I can move De Bruyne to Salah, fairly easily if I want to. The only thing is that double is when City have Bournemouth. So do I want an out of form Salah but with 2 games versus a De Bruyne against Bournemouth? But the fact De Bruyne is not...
What? I was going to say versus a De Bruyne that's sitting on the bench.
Well, yeah. But they're saying, aren't they, that he was benched against Spurs for tactical reasons because they play back 3, which I just think is a load of nonsense.
Who's they, Luke?
I don't know.
Is that what you mean by lay? Is that it?
Yeah, well, obviously Luke's the only one worth listening to. Pep at the moment reminds me, you know that meme of the guy who's riding a bike and he puts a stick in his own wheel?
Yeah.
That's Pep.
What?
Benching his best players, selling his best players.
I was going to say, someone said to me, it was Granville who said to me, I saw Granville at work today. He popped into the office and he said to me, Pep, it's like Pep's trying to throw it. It's like he's trying to lose a league on purpose. Isn't it? Yeah, it is. I mean, are we going to talk about City later? You're in charge, I don't know, but I presume we are.
Well, we can do.
Hence the fantastic headline of the show, of course. Which
I mean, sometimes you send me one, and I'm like a title, and I'm like, not too sure about that.
Yeah, but normally you're because you're like 22 years old and don't understand my references.
That's very true. Yeah, but this one straight away, I was like, oh, Vex in the City. Yeah. It's so appropriate.
But yeah, with City, it's very. I mean, like we're going to talk about Haaland, I imagine, when we get to the captains, and of course, all the algorithms and models in the world, all the pundits in the world and experts will say you stick with Haaland captain, right? And I probably will, but if you believe that outside factors or behind the scenes shenanigans, should we call it shenanigans? I quite like that word. It's a bit like a stupid and I like saying shenanigans. If only there was a Colombian left back called Shenanigans, that would be useful. But yeah, if you believe that outside influences, backroom shenanigans can affect a team and can affect a manager, which in turn affects a team, then you've got to think perhaps some of that is at play. Something's not right. I mean, like you can look at the XG all you like, and we are going to do that, of course, and it shows that City are, well, statistically, they're still the best, right, in some areas. But you watch it, and you look at the team sheets, and you look at the way that Pep is moving players about, and you look at some of his selections, and you think, something's not right. Something's clearly wrong, isn't it? We don't know what it is, but I don't think anyone could deny that something is a little bit awry.
Well, there's obviously been a falling out with Foden. I know he said he's ill and he was in the hotel and stuff, but this has been going on now for months. Obviously, problems with Cancelo. I mean, I still can't understand Laporte and Diaz both being benched. They're better defenders to me than Akanji and Ake.
Careful. Oh,
well, they are. Tough. Come on.
Ake's been their best defender all season.
Yeah, but Laporte and Diaz are like
in their best,
world-class defenders. I don't know. I think it's Rico Lewis. He looks really good, but he's incredibly raw. It's like Pep's making a bit of a statement with him. I mean, Bernardo Silva coming back in. Why? Why is he suddenly back in the picture? He was completely out. I don't know. It's all very, very strange. I can say right now, I may not be going Haaland captain this week.
Well, I was going to say that as well, so you've stolen my thunder now. Can I just say that Joe Portland is saying it's actually shenanigans. Oh, sorry, Joe.
Shenanigans.
He's my new favourite commenter. Brilliant.
Yeah. That's very high praise.
I don't know what to do really, because like you've got to back City in the double game week, so you've probably got to go 3 players. I've got 3 already. I'm going to settle on what I've got. If I had the money to go Bruno to De Bruyne, yeah, you would, wouldn't you? You've got to back the double game. You've got to play the maths, play the probabilities, of course. But like I said, if you believe that outside factors can affect what goes on the pitch, then you've got to have some concerns, right? I mean, I think didn't you go on the FPL podcast and say that you were thinking twice about captaining Haaland on there, weren't you?
Yeah, I am. Well, I think Arsenal beat City. That's the key one.
So do I.
So if I'm looking at that game and I think Arsenal are going to have more potential to score more goals against City, then you've got to look at the other one. I mean, Brentford Villa is a tricky one. I mean, Brentford are obviously really good defensively, but mostly at home. Villa have been excellent under Emery defensively, but have just conceded 4 goals at home to Leicester. That's the concern, is that Haaland had that hat-trick a few weeks ago and Leicester have just put 4 past Villa, and Brentford have looked solid.
Yeah.
So I think that first game is really tricky. And if it was just, Saka versus Brentford or Haaland versus Villa at home, I'd go for Haaland. But taking into account that second game, where I think Arsenal are going to... I just think they're going to win it. I look at those two teams and just think Arsenal are the better team at the moment.
Yeah. Did I tell you I'm going to the game, by the way?
You're going to Arsenal City?
Yeah, more on that later when we talk about, I'll see you next week, and I'm going,
no, I do know that. You're going with Billy, right?
Yeah,
I do know that. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, nice.
We can't highlight comments because you're hosting and I haven't given you a clue on how to do that. But I just want to call out FBL Team Pete's in the chat, and he's saying, last time I was here for BlackBox Live, I dropped my shepherd's pie. I'm ordering a takeaway tonight. That's the kind of comment we like. That's
I've seen a picture
what people come here for.
What,
the shepherd's pie being dropped?
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
Drop like Kevin De Bruyne.
It's because he mentioned at the start of the stream that he was cooking a shepherd's pie.
Right.
And so after the stream, I said, "How did it go?" And then he
I
said,
bet it had cheese on top and
yeah,
everything.
but it was
didn't
delicious.
Yeah. And he dropped it on the floor.
Yeah, just completely everywhere. Yeah, sorry. Still sorry for your loss, Peter.
This is the content they want, as.
We've also been stuck on an image of my team for the last 10 minutes. I can't show anyone the great and the good because Greyhead, for the first time in 2 years, has not sent me an updated table. I won't mock him because hopefully he's all right. I haven't heard from him, today. So, yeah, hope you're okay, Greyhead. We miss you. Send me an updated table soon, or when you can.
Delia's asking, same link to highlight comments. No, sorry, Delia, because Az doesn't have the text, so it won't work.
Can't do it.
But we'll be back to I'll show him how to do it next week because it's really good and we want to keep that in. But I'll take some time off and show you how to do it.
Thanks, Mark. Yeah, I've got all the time in the world at the moment. I've got 2 weeks off before my new job.
Oh, I really fancy a shepherd's pie now. Anyway.
We're talking absolute nonsense today.
I know, it's fun.
Right, let's get into actual content then. So this is the wonderful Ben Crellin's fixture ticker. As I mentioned, we've had the new doubles in Gameweek 25 announced, and this chart just really shows what's likely to happen going forward. So obviously in 23, we got the double of Arsenal with Brentford and Man City with the Aston Villa and Arsenal double. In 25, we have 4 blanks: Brentford blank, Brighton blank, United blank, and Newcastle blank. So, yeah, lots of players from lots of teams. You've got your Tonys, your Matomas, your Rashfords, your Trippiers, all without a game. And we've had Arsenal confirmed as a double game week. Leicester and Everton, looks really nice for them. Everton with their new maestro in charge, Villa and Arsenal. Liverpool with a double, a good-looking double with Crystal Palace and Wolves, although they did just get absolutely battered by Wolves 3-0 last game week. And Wolves have got a double of Fulham and Liverpool. So, yeah, just quickly, but what takes your fancy in Game Week 25, do you reckon? I mean, it's good-looking games on paper for Liverpool and Arsenal. I mean, Arsenal we're going to be maxed with anyway because they've just got a double in 23. Yeah. So I guess it's the other 3 teams. Who are you looking at?
Well, you've got to be tempted by Liverpool, haven't you? I mean, the thing is, it's much like City at the moment. Like, you've got to think that eventually there will be some semblance of form, and the likes of Salah and maybe not Darwin, but you'd expect Salah over those 2 games to return something, and the chance to get Salah and captain Salah could possibly be very strong there, given that he could effectively be a differential. Because as I said at the top of the show, people with Kane are going to find it difficult to move, and they will probably go, am I going to do that? Shall I just keep Kane because he's so consistent? He's a difficult sell, Kane. So I think Salah won't be in the majority of teams. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just don't see it. Those who have got De Bruyne will move to Salah, I'm sure, but that's not everybody. Some have got Kane, so I think you've got to look at Liverpool, even though the form is absolutely dismal. The trouble is, of course, defensively, we normally go Trent, but can you trust them? Against those 2 teams, though, Palace and Wolves, they don't scream attacking threat, those 2. Wolves have certainly been better.
3-0, Mark?
Yeah.
Not just 3-0. I mean, carved them open.
But the thing is, it is another, 3 weeks away, and that doesn't sound very long, but that is a long time in football. And I don't know, I just find it hard to believe that Liverpool will continue this descent into, what are they going to end up, 13th, 14th at this rate? Aren't they bottom of the league since the restart? I think they are.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know.
Well, like you say you don't
surely got to turn around.
But why? There's nothing good about them. They look awful in defence.
Klopp's a world-class coach.
Yeah, but the players have down tools.
Well, if that is true, why would they have done that?
How does it? They're not doing any of the things that have made them so successful in the past. Their shape looks wrong. The pressing's not there. The forwards aren't scoring. There's no link between the midfield and attack. There's no. It all looks wrong to me. And Wolves haven't scored 3 goals all season.
No.
And they could have had more. They could have had 5 before half time. There is something really wrong
of course there's something like that. It's whether or not you think by game week 25 for those 2 games they could get back to a level where they could offer returns. And let's not forget Salah was once. Like, I'll quote you at the start. We were talking about the start of the season. I remember I ran into Jeff at a fest at the start of the season. This is Jeff Dance, our mutual friend from Scout. And he knew I didn't have Salah. And he said to me, I'm worried about you, your well-being, because you're going into the game without Salah, right? Remember that?
Yeah.
Now we're sitting here going, oh, double game week, Crystal Palace and Wolves. Do we want to get Salah? Let's just remind ourselves. And a lot of the people who swear by models and algorithms say, you need a long period of time before you can really reassess a player certainly like a player like Salah, because eventually the presumption is he will get back to the level he was and start returning at the level he used to. I don't think there's anything different massively tactically. I mean, I started the season without him and said, he's playing further out wide, he's getting fewer chances, fewer touches in the box. That is true, but unfortunately, I predicted it at a time when he did actually get some points. Looking at it now, look how he's regressed now. But there are other factors at play now. There's no Jota there, there's no Firmino there, there's no continuity in that front line. He is the only one that's been there for an established player in that front three. Gakpo and Darwin haven't really done it, have they? So there's so many factors now contributing to Salah's regression. The question is, can he snap out of it? Can he be a factor in those two games? I don't think it's too far-fetched to go, I'm going to risk it and get Salah back in. Would you captain him when you've got Arsenal at Leicester and Everton? No,
not a chance. Not a chance. This is it. I mean, to me, Saka is such an obvious captain that week now, and which is nice because we're going to be talking about captains later, and it was always going to be Haaland because Haaland's playing Bournemouth. And there's a hat-trick brewing there, potentially. But I think you've got to go for Arsenal in that double, or Salah, I guess, or Tarkowski, if you
if you think they're going to be set piece merchants all the time. No, I mean it's going to be. I think I will get Salah. I think that's inevitable. Whether I'll double on Darwin, it's tempting. But it's crazy, isn't it, to think we're looking at Liverpool with a double game and we're sitting here going, not sure.
Well, Palace and Wolves as well. I mean, it's about as good a...
Yeah.
Imagine last season, we had that double when they had Leeds and someone else, and it was like triple captain, no question, and he delivered hugely. But no one's going to be using the triple captain on Salah in 25, I don't think. You're either using it on Haaland this week, if you still got it.
Oh, no, triple captain.
Or on Saka in 25, surely.
No, if you're using triple captain on Salah in 25, it's like, where have you been for the last 6 weeks, basically? Because you surely should have used it before then. But I know they might get the last laugh. Yeah, this is it. You don't. If you look at the models and you look ahead to 25, you can bet you Salah's massively out on top, even above the Arsenal players, I expect, because the models won't have adjusted to this relatively short-term drop in form. They would still have him very, very high in terms of projection, and any model probably will say Captain Salah in that week, even over likes of Odegaard or Saka. But it's whether or not we go with that, or we accept that perhaps Salah is good enough where he can flip it like that, and maybe he can.
To go through some other stuff on Ben Crellin's chart, we've got in 26 and 27 a possible double game week for Brighton in either 26 or 27. It would be one or the other, he thinks. So it wouldn't be back-to-back doubles, but that would either be West Ham and someone in 26 or Leeds and someone in 27. Either way, a really good-looking double game week for Brighton if that does land in that. There's an unlikely double game week, he thinks, 1 to 35% chance of Bournemouth having double game week in one of those 2 weeks, and Newcastle as well. But Newcastle's would be quite tough with Man City and Brighton in there as well. So it'd be great if Brighton's double game was to land in 26 or 27, because Matoma captain.
You think?
Easy.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, yeah. I mean, it would be the obvious
Haaland at home to Newcastle or
no
Matoma captain?
I mean, it depends on your opponent and what they've got, right? I don't
Saka
know.
at home to Bournemouth.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, is any other Brighton players? Are we looking at Brighton later as well? I don't know. I have no idea. But I hope we're not looking at Brighton, because no one wants that kind of content. But is there anybody else from Brighton that you would go for? Would you get a second or third Brighton player in for the double?
Well, I think you go for Estupiñán, you go for Matoma, and you get Ferguson up top. They're the optimal three, I think, providing Ferguson is actually coming back from injury soon. and hasn't had his Achilles torn apart by Fabinho. It looks the signs from De Zerbi are that he's going to be back pretty soon. And I mean, Dennis Undav can never play for Brighton again after missing a hat trick of shots in about 20 seconds. And he's light years ahead of Welbeck now, unfortunately, because he can actually score a goal. So yeah, Ferguson all day.
It's always handy for a striker, that.
It is good. Yeah, it is good.
One thing about Brighton is, of course, they're likely to blank in 28. And therefore you're bringing in, you can't load up unless you're free hitting in 28. And I think most of us, I don't know if you've got the chip strategies slide to show, most of us are going to try and approach 28 with a strategy of getting through it. Am I right in saying that? Is that your thoughts, or do you think you're going to roll out? Yeah. So
there'll be. I think, given that there's so many games to be rearranged, there's going to be opportunities for that going forward. And everyone's team's different, isn't it? If you're going into 28 and you've got 3 players, you want to avoid taking a minus 20, then okay, maybe it's time. But I think the majority of people, given that we've got so many weeks until 28, and are obviously a little bit engaged if you're watching this stream, you're going to be able to make sort of contingency plans and not have to do it. So
here's a question for you, a dilemma. You go into game week 25 and you've got 10 players who play. The one player that you could sell because you don't want to sell Rashford or look at my team later, but it's Stupinan. I've got Stupinan, and I could either take 10 men into 25 and keep a Stupinan for the double, or I could take a Stupinan out for free for a double game week player like a Tarkowski, but not have that Brighton defender for the double to come. What would you do?
Yeah, tricky. I mean, Tarkowski looks good, right? But he's got Arsenal away. I know they've just beaten them 1-0. I don't think they're going to beat them again. No. Arsenal had a really off day. They had some chances, just weren't at it, and they just couldn't deal with the tactics of Everton and that ball. I would assume before they play them again, Arteta will get them sorted. So I don't think I'd do it. No,
yeah, I'm thinking that as well. Yeah, I've been using that FPL team by that. Who's that guy? The Shepherd's Pie guy.
Shepherd's Pie guy. Peter.
Of course, I'm joking. I've been using his
that's
tool.
That's a great new nickname for him, Shepherd's Pie.
Shepherd's Pie Pete.
Shepherd's Pie Pete, I love that.
There we go. So I've been using his tool to go and look ahead, because it's a great tool. FBL.team. Go and have a look. It's really good. Yep. And yeah, that's a dilemma that I've really got, whether I do that or not. And I think you're probably right. Brighton's double will be more attractive, I imagine, than the one for Tarkowski. So we'll see. I will talk more about that when we get there, of course. But it's always nice to plan, isn't it?
It is. And speaking of planning, I mean, in 29, we've got some stuff from Ben as well about a likely double game week. So this is over 65% likely to happen. And that's going to be a double game week for Brentford, Brighton, Leeds, Leicester, Liverpool, Manchester United, Newcastle, Southampton, and West Ham. So again, there's some differential type teams in that. So free hit wise, that could be a week where someone's do it.
Yeah, that's the plan. I think if I remember rightly, that it's the free hit 29 is the popular place to play it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So much to think about. There's so much there in that table that could distract me from getting the best players.
I know.
But I'm looking forward to falling into those many traps that table shows me. Yeah.
As of course we will. Let's take a look at some data. With the blow my nose, so you're going to have to carry us through this section in a second.
Oh, blimey, the level of professionalism in this stream is like...
I don't know what's going on with us today. I can tell we haven't done this together in a while. Team data attack, though, this is, of course, sorted by XG non-penalty per 90, as always, and this is all since the restart as well. All the data I'll be showing will be since the restart. But yeah, City top still, so even with all their problems and tactical selections and players being dropped and sold... They are still top, Arsenal in second, and then some drop off. But Liverpool in third, which surprises me
there you go.
A lot as well, that they're still there.
Yeah. And it's like what I said about City, in that the data will show us that we should be able to back Liverpool with confidence in that double game week 25. We shouldn't have any qualms about it. And yet the eye test is so off-putting. That's the problem. 1.89 XG non-penalty per 90 ahead of the likes of United and Newcastle. It's no surprise to see Newcastle dropping down a bit, because we've seen that recently, haven't we? We've seen Newcastle, just their attacking threat start to be reduced. Almiron's form has dropped through the floor. Obviously, Guimaraes missing didn't help last time out. So, yeah, Newcastle's attacking form is a little bit concerning if you're still holding Almiron or even Wilson. But Liverpool, that points to we shouldn't even be hesitating. Darwin and Salah for Gameweek 25, right? That's what that says. Well, no, this is it. The fact you're laughing, it's like, well, why? Because they're creating 16 shots in 90.
This is a classic eye test versus stats
it
debate,
is,
isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I look at Darwin and I don't care what his stats are. I just don't think he's that good.
He's so much fun. We'll see when we get to the forwards.
Is he fun, or is he just...
It's fun if you don't own him, because you go,
probably watching him.
Another one there. Yeah.
He's, I don't know, he's strange. I mean, Salah's got a pass to do whatever he wants, because he's arguably the greatest FPL pick of all time, going into this. And he's having a bad season by his standards, but still has quite a ridiculous goal or assist record this season in all competitions for Liverpool. So a lot of people saying that he's not doing it for them, but without him there'd be an even worse position across a lot of this. But I don't know. I'll probably go in with I probably will get Salah for that double, but it doesn't give me the same. I'm not owning him. I never thought I would be able to go into a game without Salah and not fear him.
Not be scared.
But I don't fear him at all, and I haven't done for weeks.
No. But this data suggests that we should still fear them. 2.83 big chances per 90. The trouble is they've been going to Darwin, right? That's the problem. It's crazy surprising. I mean, City have had the fourth best fixtures, right? So maybe that has actually balanced out the fact that they've appeared to be disappointing in attacking terms. Haaland was pretty much starved against Spurs. They didn't really get him the opportunities that they have been in previous weeks. But they're still creating 3.5 big chances per 90, and they're still averaging 2.08 XG non-penalty per 90. Really, really strong still. So, yeah, you're absolutely right. How much stock do you put in this data? You've highlighted Chelsea there as well. Particular reason for that? Is that?
Well, second best fixtures on the list.
Yeah.
Down in ninth.
Right.
Obviously signed a lot of new players. I thought they were pretty poor against Fulham. Deserved a 0-0 in that. Mudryk, again, a similar problem to Liverpool is that I just see a big disconnect between that midfield and the attack, and it's probably going to take a bit of time to get. Enzo was man of the match in that, looked really tidy on the ball, did some good kind of defensive work, but in terms of getting the ball up to the striker in Havertz and the wingers, just didn't really see it. I cannot understand Potter's selection though of Mudryk on the left when he says, he's had a cold all week, and Ziyech on the right, who had just flown back from Paris after not being selected in the squad. Yeah. But I can't understand it. Like,
but there's two things you said there that are no surprise. One, you said the striker Havertz. That's debatable.
Absolutely.
The second is you've said Potter's selection. I don't understand. You said that as a Brighton fan, didn't you? Let's face it. He's often selected teams. And
he doesn't normally select like ill players and players that don't want to play for the club. Normally, there's some logic to his. I mean, he's got Sterling and. What's his name? Sorry, Madueke?
Yeah, the guy they bought from PSV. Yeah.
Play them.
Yeah. He looked all right. He looked lively when he came on. Yeah.
Why would you play someone who's had a cold and someone who doesn't even want to be there? I just can't understand it. And they look poor. And Fulham played really well. And it was a difference between a team that had a really clear system and players who knew each other and a team that had been put together. The one thing I will say about Chelsea, though, that leads us on to the defence, is I was impressed with them in defence. I thought Badiashile looks quality. Silva looks really good. Kepa looks great. They've got Chilwell and James coming back. Enzo looked like he's going to win the ball back. I think defensively, they're going to be fine. And since the restart, they're fifth for defensive data. Okay, they've had amazing fixtures, but they still look good. And I think they're going to get stronger defensively. I just still think they're going to struggle in attack.
Yeah, that Silva guy's got a promising career ahead of him.
My God. He's just absolutely ridiculous, isn't he?
He just reads the game and he's 2 paces ahead of everyone in his head, isn't he? So, It's great to watch when a player like that can do that. I remember as a Forest fan watching Nigel Clough, who had no pace whatsoever, but he had the game in his head 2 moves ahead of everybody else, and he got away with not having any pace because he read it so well. And he was a striker, and he could see a pass. And Thiago's the same. He can see an interception coming, can't he? He knows exactly where to position himself. And it's that game management as well that he's got. It's just so amazing to watch at times. He knows how to see a game out with a team, and it's so valuable to have that back there. Which I'm seeing now. I saw in one game with Navas in goal for Forest. It's the same kind of thing. A veteran player, world class, who's been in there, done it. It's amazing what a difference it makes to the players around you. It's really odd. And Silva's done that, and I saw that from Navas in goal for Forest at the weekend. That he has that aura and that game management in him to just see the game out. So, yeah, I mean, Chelsea defensively are of interest again. So we mentioned Reece James at the start of the show. Would you ever, or would you never go back to Reece James?
I would never say never, because he's on my wall. I know what he's capable of. I mean, Badiashile interests me because he hasn't got Champions League.
Right.
He's not in the squad.
He's not in the squad, yeah.
No. So he's 5 million. And, I've had the Newcastle defensive double up for a few weeks now, and that's been quite good. I think Chelsea could be a team that keeps clean sheets going forward. And so the double up could be on with Kepa.
Reece with his attacking,
is he going to play enough? Is he going to definitely start every single Premier League match? No, almost certainly not. Because they tried bringing him back, and he got injured straight away. So they're going to have to keep him wrapped up a little bit. Here's
a question then: do you think he'll ever be someone we can rely upon for the rest of his career?
Not this season, but I think he can come back next year.
I hope so, because he's such a fantastic asset when he's fit and firing. I mean, you managed to hit his points last season ridiculously well, and I was just hitting and missing all the time. But yeah, when he's at his best, he's just such a fantastic player to own, isn't he? Because he'll always be like, even next season he'll be 5-5-5, won't he? So, although knowing FPL, probably 4-5 to be honest.
Because Potter's playing a back four at the moment as well. So again, is that going to change when the likes of Fofana come back? Is he going to go back to that back five system?
Yeah.
Because that would unlock Chilwell and Reece again. But if he doesn't, and they're playing as fullbacks, then they're not going to be as attacking as they were as wing backs. So because they've got so much width now with with Sterling, Mudryk.
They've got the options there. The wing backs might not be a thing anymore, right? So,
but they have got 10 centre backs. So
Liverpool 16th in this table.
I know.
Blimey.
Unbelievable, isn't it? Below Leeds and Palace.
3.83 big chances conceded per 90 is the most of any defence in this table. By a long way. A long, long way. The next worst is Villa at 3.33. That's largely because of the previous game, I guess.
I think it shows how much Van Dijk papers over the cracks, doesn't it? Because without him, they look complete. I mean, Matip. What was going on with Matip in the last game? He's good. I've always really rated Matip. He looked like a League One defender. He couldn't read the game. He was missing challenges.
It's very strange because you can have confidence issues, but Matip was just making mistakes with his positioning and very odd. I don't know. Again, it's like the City thing, is it? The eye test shows us something is wrong. We can't put our finger on what it is. The data suggests, no, it's all fine. This data doesn't, though, not defensively. No. I mean, I kind of, it's been a long time that their defence has looked shaky, though, to be honest. It's only recently the attackers on the eye test start to look like it's really faltering, I would say, over the last 6-7 weeks, whereas from the start, Liverpool's defence looked shaky, didn't it? And we look back to Fulham and Van Dijk being taken by Mitrovic for that penalty, and it was. Yeah, they've not been someone we could rely upon at all defensively all season, which is again real shame. It's a bit like Reece James. Trent has not been that factor at all. So, yeah.
Well, they're a team arguably we should be targeting when when our attackers play them. Yeah, exactly, because they're on par with a lot of the teams that we would consider targeting, like Everton, Palace, Leeds. They're the teams that we look at and think, our players could hit big scores against these guys, and Liverpool are worse statistically than them. Yeah.
You've highlighted Forest, haven't mentioned them. Can we do 20 minutes on Forest? Of
course we can. Had to mention Forest. I mean, look at that. I mean, 7th in the table, since the restart. You must just... I mean, I don't know how you beat Leeds. You were there. Do you know how you beat Leeds?
Well, Navas kept us in it first half, and then they didn't really.
Yeah, to be fair, they didn't really come out second half. But the first half, they were all over you. They could have had.
I think like
Nonto owners must just be.
Yeah, he looked good. I mean, like, there's no question Nonto is there. He's a key man for them. I mean, like, he's going to be one to watch next season, if they're still in the Premier League, of course. So whether he'd be one we get in now, probably not, because he plays very wide. I don't, Brennan Johnson scored our goal, right? Brennan Johnson, how much is Johnson compared to Nonto? Right, there's not a lot in it, is there? I don't think.
Johnson, no.
Johnson's 5'6".
Well, Nonto's 5, so.
Right, Nonto's 5, and Johnson's 5'6", I think, because he's gone down quite a lot.
5'6".
Johnson, yeah, yep. Right.
Johnson's in his last 5 returns in his last 4 games.
Yeah, Johnson can finish. He's a.
But he's someone who talked him up at the start of the season.
Not elite finisher, but he could be an elite finisher in the future. But he's a very good finisher.
Leeds have scored, Nonto.
Well, there you go, brilliant. But Nonto isn't a striker, is he? Like Johnson, they're not strikers. So you're using one of your striker slot for a winger, and I haven't got Johnson for most of the season for that reason, because I don't really want a wide attacker in a striker spot when there's like some Mitrovic around and so on, and Tony and so on. There's been good options. So I don't think Nonto will get the attention from FPL managers that perhaps his level of performance deserves, because we wonder whether his output is going to be. But then he goes and scores just as I'm talking. Has that ever happened before?
How the hell has Nonto scored? Like Leeds have he's just sacked March, all the problems they've got there.
Like I said, he's easily their best player, but he's not. He didn't take his chance, and he just strikes me as someone who's not like a natural finisher. Otherwise, he wouldn't be playing out wide; he'd be playing down the middle. So, I don't know. I don't know what. I don't think he's going to make it into our teams unless it's a double game week. As it was before. He's not someone who's going to oust Mitrovic and Tony or Nketiah as a third striker. I don't think, but he is an incredibly good player who, if he's a midfielder next season, and arguably he could and should be a bit like Brennan, then maybe he's someone we look at.
Yep. What about Leicester right down the bottom again? It's not good for them, is it? I mean, they've got Maddison back and win. No surprises there, but they're going to have to score a lot of goals because they're going to concede a lot of goals.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they're going to be reliant on Maddison. It is going to be like that, isn't it, with Leicester? They're going to have to outscore their opponent, because I don't think they're going to keep teams out. They had that good defensive spell before Christmas, though, didn't they? When they really were on it and looked like they were going to. They looked like they were never going to be relegation threatened again. They looked like they were going to pull out of it and then go up to like top 10. Hasn't happened. They lost at Forest and they were poor. They were really poor in that game. We beat them quite comfortably. They didn't really stretch them because they didn't have Maddison, and he makes such a difference, obviously. But they can't rely on him for everything. I don't think he's going to drag them to safety. I think they're going to need to find performances from other players as well. Barnes is always a goal threat, but it's the defence. Yeah, it's a real concern. I mean, not owning Kane going into this weekend is a real worry, because we know Kane's record at against Leicester is ridiculous, isn't it? He's got that massive haul, of course, but could he reproduce that? Not sure. I don't think so. The way Spurs don't go for the jugular, do they? They'll probably win that game, but I don't see it being 4-5-2 or something like that. But.
No, I agree. I do think, though, if we didn't have the double, Kane would be a real captain contender. But
yeah,
they do. There is a double, so he's not. Let's take a quick look at keepers. So Kepa, since the restart, is now the best scoring goalkeeper, points per 90, 6.29. Just behind him is Raya, though. I mean, Brentford. I still think Brentford continue to fly under the radar a little bit. Big Ben Mee scoring a goal. In defence, amazing for owners of him. Raya's been doing really well, keeping pace with Kepa. They haven't got the game in 25, so again, there's not going to be a lot of investment in them. But what a season they're having! I mean, I think we both say they'd struggle this season at the start, but they are not at all.
I really thought they would struggle. If I was Ivan Toney, I'd probably put money on it. But no,
that's good.
But since the break as well, they've been defensively. Raya's been. I mean, I had Raya for a section of the first half of the season, but I didn't really consider him for the restart. I went Kepa and Edison. And I'm not, even if Edison wouldn't have been a thing for me and I'd have gone a City defender, I don't think I'd have gone Raya. But he's just delivered. It's been fantastic. So anyone who kept the faith or didn't change their team maybe and had Raya has really profited. Ben Mee, always going to be their standout defender, wasn't he? He's the one that's got the goal threat. He had it at Burnley, and it showed up again. So, fair play if you've been on Brentford. But again, I think we've been distracted by the doubles and blanks, right? I think, and so we haven't really given them the attention they deserve.
Yep, agreed. Apologies for keep blowing my nose. I feel really grim.
Oh, he's breaking down during the stream.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I was voted man of Bulgaria. I'll tell you that.
Man of Bulgaria? What are you talking about?
Have I not told you my man of Bulgaria story?
No, I've just come back from Bulgaria. What's this about?
That's one for another time.
Is this one for off air?
I think it probably is. Look at that, right down the bottom though. I mean, I started with Ward and Iverson at the start.
Look at that. Yeah.
I started with them again at the restart.
But
4 million, we all thought it was a gift, but it has not been a gift.
But he was, before the break, he was amazing, Danny Ward. We were saying, look at what an incredible run he's had. And then he's just gone straight to the bottom of this table again. And his expected goals prevented minus 3.90. Is that the worst? Yes, it is the worst.
It's unbelievable.
No, it's not the worst. Bazanu, I've probably mispronounced
Bazunu
that. Joe,
he's always...
Joe, if you're in chat, could you put
He's
me
not
right there?
had a good season, has he? Old
No.
Bazunu.
Bazunu. But he's inexperienced, isn't he? Whereas Danny Ward certainly isn't. It's been a disappointment if you went into the season went into the restart with Iverson and Ward, which you did. Then you surely got off that and you've got on Kepa. But in a way, it's fortunate that Kepa's there at 4-6 to move to quite easily because...
Well, there's another option that Andy Mack just pointed out in the chat as well.
Yeah.
Lloris is out for 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
So Fraser Forster is 3.9. Option.
Yeah, the only problem he plays for Spurs, right? That's the problem, isn't it? But no, it is an option if you're struggling for keeping.
They were good against City, very impressive.
Yeah, they were, but they haven't got Romero now for he misses one game on it, or is that his second sending off of the season? I'd have to check that, but must probably his third or fourth sending off of the season. No, Romero,
He's back next week, I think.
Yeah, but he's only out for one game.
Feb.
Yeah, so one game. Yeah. But let's have a look at their fixtures. Yeah, the fixtures are good. I see a lot of green. So, Fraser Forster could be an option at 3.9 if you really need to free up funds. It'd be quite a handy one.
Yeah, but I mean, realistically, it's still Kepa, isn't it?
Yeah.
I just think Kepa is. I can't remember what game it was that I watched. It was the one where they conceded. It must have been against Forest. Yeah, you drew 1-1. But I saw from that game the distribution he was doing, the shots that they were taking. I just thought, he's going to hit some big hauls. He's doing all of that classic goalkeeper stuff. And if Kepa ends up on my wall at the end of this season, because I'm really struggling to know which players have actually had a big impact for me.
Matoma's on your wall, surely.
At the moment, it's between Matoma and Kepa.
That's another swig from Delia there. Just said Matoma for the seventh time.
I can't put Kepa on my wall.
No, you can't. Why? Do you think he's been your most...
Chelsea player up there?
Has he been your MVP so far this season, Kepa? Is that really... that sums up your season?
I mean, his last 3 weeks, he's got 10, 9, 10. It's amazing. I mean, it does sum up my season, but... Yeah, Kepa or Matoma currently. Cole Matoma. I need some more returns. Right, let's take a look at defence. So I've highlighted on here the double game week defenders for us to look at. So we can also talk about some of the other ones as well. Again, this is filtered by XGI non-penalty per 90. I'm wondering if maybe we should start filtering defenders by points per 90, like we do.
Yeah, could do.
Goalkeepers.
Because this. I mean, normally in any other season, the XGI non-penalty is what we look at because we know where the clean sheets are coming from and we're looking for attacking returns. Whereas this season, the attacking returns have been so poor, Trippier the only one really who's stepped up, that it's strange. We've said this many weeks now. It's so strange how that has just disappeared from our play, isn't it, as FPL managers? That hunt for the attacking wing-back or full-back to get us attacking returns, which has been a regular thing for the last 3 or 4 seasons. This season, it's like, no, let's just get Newcastle defenders in because they're the best defence. It's kind of gone back to old school ways, isn't it? My defenders are the ones that keep clean sheets. Well, of course, but in recent season, it's been get the defenders who gets goals and assists, and clean sheets are. I know they're a staple, but actually, when you were buying Trent, you're almost buying him for the attacking returns.
Yeah.
But him and James not there, Robertson not there, as we said. Perisic has been disappointing, and so maybe you're right. Maybe it's points per 90 that we should be looking at.
I mean, when you think about the amount of chances that Trent and Robertson have created over the last few seasons, and their chance created is I mean, Trent's is still 1.99, 2, so about 2 chances created, but Robertson's is right down at 1.17. I mean, Trippier's is nearly 5. He's so far ahead of, not only is he playing for the best defence, he's also creating the most chances by far. His baseline bonus is the highest. He's just absolutely relentless.
That's crazy. He's double.
Yeah.
Chances created per 90 is more than double that of Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Who would? I mean, I would never have predicted that start of the season. I mean, even players like so I've got the Arsenal and the City players on here. So like Gabriel, for example, he's a centre back, so he wasn't the kind of free flowing like fullbacks like those other guys, but he was still putting in good amount of threat. But he hasn't really. I mean, he's 34th on the list. XG non-penalty per 90 of 0.12. Saliba's in 38th, 0.10. Ben White's in 43rd, 0.09. And then Ake, your best mate, is right down with 0.07. So I hadn't actually seen this chart, and I've already made my transfer, and I've bought in 8th on this list, which, according to the attacking data since the restart, is the best option for the double game week, which is Zinchenko, who...
I saw him in your team.
Yeah, I'm not seeing him in many sides at all, but...
I guess it was the threat from Tierney. In a double, you've got that thing, well, will he play both games? Will Tierney get a game? I think while they're full tilt and City are in within range, then he'll play. He is too good, yeah.
That's the thing.
He comes into midfield, and he's obviously been playing... He plays there for his national team, and he can do that inverted fullback thing that Pep does with his fullbacks, and Arteta is doing that against weaker opponents. He's bringing Zinchenko in for the overload. He did it at Everton. If in many ways Zinchenko was looking like their most likely source at Everton in terms of creating chances, because he was the outball, he was the spare man, and in the end, obviously they still lost the game, but he had a lot of possession in that game.
I rate him so highly.
So do I.
I just think he's such a classy player. And the fact he can play in different positions, and the fact he plays in different positions during the match as well, he's so versatile. And if they're going to win the league, I think they need to play him every minute. Because Tierney's a good player as well, but he's not as good as Zinchenko.
He's not, but what I will say is your Arsenal slots are very, very precious. I don't know if I'd have even gone an Arsenal defender with it. I think I haven't.
The triple attack?
I've gone the triple attack, and I think that is the way to go. Yeah, I know, but I mean, I still think going into a double
attack.
I
just don't trust it, because you have a game like that, an off day, and you get 2 points of all your attackers. I prefer to spread the risk around, and Arsenal's defence is the best in the league.
It's good behind City's, yeah. But I think that I don't know. I just like to have the 3 attackers in that Arsenal team at the moment because of the value. If they were more expensive, then I'd agree with you, because normally you'd go with Zinchenko and White are such good value, but when you compare them to the prices you can get Martinelli and Nketiah and Odegaard at, it's a difficult argument. And I don't know, I still think, Arsenal will concede some goals, there's no doubt about that, and they've got that Ramsdale has always got a mistake in him. I don't know, I think I'd rather have the 3 attackers for the doubles. So I'm surprised you went Zinchenko.
Well, we differ on that, I think. So I prefer to spread the risk a little bit, and I think Zinchenko at 5. I mean, he was 5 when I bought him because I moved early. The thing is, I would have preferred to have had Gabriel, I still think, just because he's got that absolute nailed-onness. But he's a little bit more expensive, 5.2. Saliba's more expensive than him, 5.3. So it was either White or Zinchenko. And I hadn't...
No, that's the right one, I think.
I hadn't seen this data, but I just thought Zinchenko is going to be a bit more likely to get something than White. Because I know White from Brighton. And I got an assist from him this season, but they're very few and far between attacking returns.
Of course, the other reason why, I think you're better off avoiding the Arsenal defenders. You can get cheap defenders from the other teams. We talked about Tarkowski, we've talked about Villa defenders, and they can equally get you the 6 points that Zinchenko will probably get you. If Zinchenko was pouring out with assists and goals, then obviously it's no contest, but he's not, is he? No, he's up there, but look, no goals, no assists. So like many other of these defenders, We're just not seeing it. Like, look at that column. Look at the goal column since the restart for defenders.
Yeah.
How many goals are there? We got
4.
One for Tarkowski, who I've just mentioned.
Yeah.
One for Aurier. One for Dawson. And one for Martinez.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it in the entire top 30. That's like pretty surprising.
Yeah, that is ridiculous, isn't it? Yeah, good spot.
I mean, you'd expect to see maybe 9 or 10 maybe over those games for these players that, well, perhaps you wouldn't, because the XGI non-penalty is lower than previous seasons, right? Normally we'd have the top 3 or 4 defenders would have higher XG non-penalty than that. So maybe that's why. It's because
I'm just surprised that Trent's had the most assists. With 2.
Yeah, with 2. Fabian Schär normally comes in with goals. He could shoot up that table before the end of the season. He's due a couple.
1 or 2 absolute.
He normally
rockets.
gets a 30-yarder. Yeah, he'll come good.
He's got another one coming. Yeah, for sure. One other player to mention here is Rico Lewis. He's 13th on the list. His XG non-penalty per 90 is 0.18, which isn't that high, but it's better than the other City assets. 3.9 million. I like him, you know. He's the one I'd get. If I was going to get a City defender, I'd get him. Not Ake. I'm not feeling this Ake hype. He's going to get dropped soon.
Well, anything's possible because you can't read Pep at all, can you? I think that sitting here now, I think Rico Lewis is still a risk. I think in a double, he's not going to get both fixtures. I think Akanji and Ake are probably the most likely defenders to get 2 games. I think with Ake, he can play left back or left centre back. He played left centre back at Spurs, didn't he? I think. And I think in the double, we'll see him at left back for Arsenal, I imagine. So in the tougher games, he'll play left back, and Lewis won't play. But then maybe you don't mind not having Lewis in the tough games. Again, though, look, the attacking potential is not strong enough where you would go, I'll take Lewis over Ake, because there's always the chance he'll get a goal and assist, because at the moment there's nothing there. Yeah, the data suggests he's okay and he's up there, but it's not enough, is it? It's not quite enough to tip you for me.
No, I would go for him. I would pick Lewis over Ake.
Would you?
Yeah, for 3.9. I like it.
But the money's not a problem. Money's not an issue, is it?
Well, it is.
Got it coming out of our ears.
It is if you're going free premiums. If you're looking to get Salah, Kane, and Haaland.
Yeah.
And maybe you're not going for Matoma because you're worried about those blanks.
Drink it down, Delia. That's the number.
Hey, I was being negative about Matoma. That doesn't count.
She's going to be paralytic by the end of this stream.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think you're not like Ederson is difficult to make a case for because you want Kepa. So if you're going to get one of the defenders, it's definitely between Ake and Lewis. I just think get the cheaper one.
Would you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Look at us disagreeing.
I'll go for the one most likely to play 2 games. Call me old-fashioned.
Yeah. Well, I'm not talking this week. I'm talking long. I think Rico Lewis for 3.9 will be good value. Ake, I don't think will be that good value.
All right.
Midfield. Top of the list, De Bruyne. He's done absolutely nothing. 2 assists, 5 starts, but a really high XG non-penalty per 90 of 0.78. Mahrez just behind him. He's done a lot better with a worse XG non-penalty per 90. He's had 3 goals and 4 assists, which is really annoying. You know, and it really annoys me, seeing as I've had De Bruyne since the restart. Grealish, he's on him as well. I've highlighted him. Pep's been talking him up. His XG non-penalty per 90 is 0.72. Crazy high. 1 goal, 3 assists for him. Is he an option?
Grealish, well, he played well at Spurs, I thought. He's probably the most likely. I guess he's as good as any of their attackers at the moment. I mean, I think I would go Mahrez if I was choosing one over De Bruyne.
Yeah.
We've seen... I just think... Well, because this data shows that
what
there's not much in it.
What minute did he get subbed on? Was he 59 as well? 58? I think it's 59.
Was he subbed up before? But I just think he's been their most... Since the restart, he's been selected every league game, I believe, by Pep, but he's also been by far their most dangerous midfielder. Or dangerous player after Haaland. If you're not playing Foden, you've got to play Mahrez because he's the only other source of goals, reliable source of goals, I would say, in that team. Grealish isn't a goal scorer. Gundogan's too deep. De Bruyne's not chipped him with enough goals this season. I mean, 4's Is it 4 this season he's got? It's disappointing. It's not even that, I don't think. Let's have a look what his totals was this season. It's 3 this season, which is really disappointing from De Bruyne because he's been pushed up quite a lot with Haaland. So when you look at that team, if Haaland can get shut down, which I'm not saying happens because it's very hard to shut him down, you've got to have another source of goals. And Mahrez is the best that Pep's got. So I think Mahrez plays the doubles. So I'd go for him over De Bruyne myself.
Mahrez is 9.2% owned, so still with
that's another.
Grealish is
a good
1.5%.
Yeah, but I can't have confidence in Grealish. Sorry, not for goals. Mahrez is a goal scorer. We've seen it previously. He can even be on penalties, can't he? If Haaland's not on the pitch, not that happens, but you never know. Last 10 minutes, Haaland can't be subbed off. But
good data though. Just saying, it's good data.
Yeah, it is. But I don't think you're convincing anyone on Grealish.
Yeah, I don't know. I like him as a punt, but I won't be getting him, so I can't sell him too much. Arsenal boys, they're a bit further down the list. Martinelli is in 8th. XG 0.90, still high, 0.52. Odegaard's at 0.5. We have got a section on Arsenal options, so I won't come to that right now. One thing I was a bit surprised with, though, is Saka down in 17th, 0.47. So he is statistically worse than all of the other Arsenal players, because Nketiah's higher than him as well. Yet he's the one that everyone covets the most, the one I was desperate to own, the one people are thinking of captaining, maybe. And Martinelli is 0.52 is really strong data, and he's the one everyone's selling. Is that wrong? Do you think, or would you still go for Salah?
No, it's not wrong. You go for Saka. Martinelli for me is too wide. The chances he's been getting aren't the level of chance that he needs to score goals. Saka's a better player, and he's certainly a better finisher, I think, than Martinelli. I think for Martinelli to return on a regular basis, he needs to be getting a higher quality of chance than Saka. We see Saka score goals from 20, 25 yards, curling them in improbable low XG shots. I don't see that from Martinelli. I haven't seen evidence since he broke into the team that he's got that in his locker. He scored a couple of good goals, but I think he needs a high quality chance to score a goal, whereas Saka doesn't necessarily need that. And then obviously there's penalties, where we think Saka's on penalties, which is very likely, I would say, unless Jorginho starts or is on the pitch, which is possible. But it'll be interesting what they do with Jorginho, because Xhaka and Partey are surely the fixtures there, and Jorginho's there to rest them late in games. I don't see him starting soon. So we could have an instance where Arsenal win a pen late in a double game week and Jorginho's on the pitch and he takes it. Do you think Jorginho would take the pens over Saka?
No.
You don't?
I don't think they'd change it up just to accommodate Jorginho. He's got a good record, obviously, but I think it's too big a statement, especially if Jorginho's just going to be a kind of a bit part player.
Isn't the narrative that Jorginho's one of the best penalty takers in the world? I mean, let me give Gianni a call, see what he says.
Paul Johnny's one of the best players in the world. Robbed of the Ballon d'Or. I think Saka will still take them, but then I thought Rashford would take them over Bruno, so I don't know what I'm talking about.
No, I think you're right. I think Saka's got them. I think you go in on Saka. I mean, I'm even looking at this week, and is it worth taking a risk on the captaincy against Haaland? And if you do, would you go Odegaard or Saka? In my team, I'd probably go Saka because of the pens, and because in a big match scenario, he can put out that goal. He drags Arsenal to performances and results. Yeah, I still like him. I don't, he'd have to fall way down this table for me to think that he's not a great option, particularly with the two doubles. Arguably, if you were saying who is the most essential player to buy over this period, with Arsenal with 7 games, Saka an ever-present, always likely to start, very rarely taken off on penalties. Does it get more essential than that? Essential than that? I don't think it does it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tricky one with Martinelli for Martinelli owners, isn't it? Because you've got him in place for the doubles, but arguably there are better options in the side. Well, 3 better options: Odegaard, Saka, and Nketiah, and then that's not including the defence as well.
Yeah.
So a sideways move from Martinelli to one of Odegaard or Saka, I'm seeing people considering, people even doing it for a hit as well. I mean, obviously this data's good, but look at the minutes: 484. That's compared to 520, 540 for Saka.
Wow.
And you've got to think with Trossard there as well. If things aren't going
that's
right,
it.
he comes in. So
58 minutes, right, at Goodison Park.
Yeah, if I had Martinelli, I would be swapping him for one of the other Arsenal mids.
Yeah.
But and the data is encouraging if you do decide to keep him, so you can make a case either way.
Yeah, I was listening to the Scoutcast. I think it was it Flapjack who convinced Andy to hold on to Martinelli, and because he was going in really hard on Martinelli, going, "Oh no, the data suggests that Martinelli's not a sell. Don't sell him." And Andy, of course, got the 58 minutes, and he was cursing him this week.
But this kind of thing is one of the reasons why you and I have started climbing the ranks a bit, because players like Almiron, players like Martinelli, these kind of locked-in, cheap players that are in everyone's team, that everyone's reluctant to get rid of because they've got loads of value tied up in them, have stopped performing, and we've been able to get in players who are doing well, and that's what we tried to at the start of the season. It wasn't possible, but now we're both climbing. So yay to us.
At last.
But who is Dango Outtro?
He plays for Bournemouth on the wing, and he scored against. No, he didn't score against Forest. He set up the goal for Anthony against Forest. Good player.
Well, if he can continue at a rate of 4 shots in the box,
he won't. He's a good player. I'm not sure that he is an FPL asset. It's a bit early days to say that. He plays for Bournemouth, which is obviously
we were lucky against Bournemouth. I'll tell you, that was exactly the kind of game I thought we'd lose. We did well to win that because they had some good chances in that match, and we'll need to play better if we're going to get Champions League football.
Good work with the Outtro pronunciation. Joe didn't pop up to correct you, so that must be correct.
Yeah, he'll probably be there in a second. Forwards, top of the list is Danny Welbeck. But you weren't expecting that.
Oh, what's going on? I put you in charge of doing this, and what do you do? Welbeck top of the forwards. What's going on?
An XGI non-penalty per 90 of 1.19. Which is the highest of all players.
Yeah, in 146 minutes. Yeah.
Yep. But, it's nice to see him there. Núñez is second, 0.89. Then it's Nketiah, 0.86. So Haaland has dropped to fourth. Still very, very impressive numbers. 31.8% conversion. Still, absolutely smashing all the stats. But Nketiah, I talked about Nketiah with Gianni last week. He was shocked that he was so high. Had chances again against Everton, just like the rest of the Arsenal team, just couldn't really convert them. But Jesus is back, or coming back soon, we think for 28, 29, something like that. But definitely for this double game week, Nketiah looks a good option, doesn't he?
Yeah, I don't see Jesus getting back in the team straight away at all. I think that they've played well without him, and Eddie Nketiah is a better goal scorer. Simple as that. He is. We've seen in previous seasons, we talked about this on BlackBox before, where players who Martinelli was this player. If you remember when we started doing BlackBox, Martinelli wasn't in the Arsenal team, and yet whenever we did this table, he was always high up in this based on the number of minutes he was getting off the bench. His shots per 90 or his XGI non-penalty was very high. We were just waiting for Martinelli to get regular starts. Then as soon as he did, you get on him because lo and behold, he maintained that. Same for Eddie Nketiah. If you look at last season's data and the season before that, he didn't get starts, but when he had minutes, his XGI non-penalty was good. So as soon as he breaks into the team, I was on him because I knew that he would be in this table and high up because all he needed was a run of starts. I was worried that Arsenal wouldn't play as well without Jesus in terms of what service they could get to him, but that hasn't turned out to be true at all. They've actually been, if not, I think they've been more effective attacking wise since Jesus was out of the team, which is odd because Jesus seemed to do so much work, and maybe it has been detrimental to Martinelli in particular. But for Eddie Nketiah, it's been great, and I've enjoyed watching him as well. He surprised me how good he is as a target man, as someone who can hold the ball up and bring others into play. He's been good at that.
Quicker than I thought he was. I know he had a good spell at the end of last season, but I kind of thought he was a championship player that they were trying to promote because they didn't really have anyone else. But he's actually,
you were scathing about him previous seasons, weren't you?
He's actually a high quality Premier League player. It's almost like I don't know what I'm talking about sometimes. Who'd have thought?
There is a quote in a Black Box episode, and I might have to go back 50, 60 episodes to find it, where you said, Eddie Nketiah, he just runs around a lot. I could do that. I'm sure you've said that. I said that
about quite a few players. Did I say that about Nketiah? He started off quite...
Yeah, you did. And I said, I'm going to play that quote back to you when Nketiah plays for England and scores a hat-trick or something like that. I remember.
Yeah, you're normally right about these things. You have a good memory.
I'm going to spend the next week just going through every episode of Black Box finding that quote just to shame you. No, I'm not, but someone probably will now. But
no, he's a very good player. Yeah, I mean, he proved me wrong quickly last season. I'm sure I ate those words. Very, very soon after I said them. But yeah, he's good. And there's no guarantee that Jesus does come straight into the team. Maybe. No,
but Eddie will lose minutes, won't he? He'll lose minutes. So
lose minutes.
I think he's a sell at that point anyway, because you will see Eddie come off with 20 minutes to go, I expect. So I don't think I'll be holding Eddie and Nketiah all through the season.
I remember us saying, no, you don't. You only remember it because Mark said it.
You don't doubt Legamane, legend of the community. If he says he remembers it, it happened.
Well, your big one was about Havertz, and he's been rubbish. So.
Well, I didn't say Havertz was good, did I?
No, exactly.
I didn't go in 2-footed like you did.
You basically did. You said he'd be back in Germany, and he wasn't good enough. You said it. I soundbited it.
He will be next season.
He's awful.
I don't think he's awful, but he's not what Chelsea need up front, is he?
He's not great. I don't know what he's trying to be. I don't know what his skills are.
You said what he was, but you don't want to go there again. Oh, he said it again. He just
runs around, Mark. Get me in the team.
Oh my God, I can't believe he went there.
I can't even run around at the moment. My hernia's playing up again. So.
Oh dear, hernia, got a cold.
I know.
Deary me.
No, I haven't got a cold. I'm just run down. I'll be fine.
You need a holiday. Mexico's good this time of year. Why don't you bugger off there again?
Yeah, I wasn't going to get all in bloody Mexico. A couple of players, I haven't highlighted them, but Ferguson's on here. Points per 90 of 12.66, which obviously is not sustainable. 3 goals and 2 assists in his 2 starts. I did mention him earlier though. He is so good. Honestly, he's not going to keep up this record, but he is going to start for us when he's back and fit.
What do you think Brighton do then? Because Brighton surely sign a forward in summer, right? What have they got? 600-700 million in the bank now?
We've said that every year we've been in the
yeah. Surely you. I mean, because it's funny, isn't it? It'd be ironic, isn't it? You find this starlet from the youth team or the reserve team or wherever he's come from, the under-23s. He comes in, scores goals, looks like he could be the answer, and that'll be the summer you finally buy a striker.
It could well be, but we're not in the summer yet, so don't worry about it. Just enjoy him while he's there. Yeah. I mean, he needs competition because Welbeck isn't good enough as a striker for us. He's a good bench option, but he shouldn't. I mean, I know he brings a lot to the team. I like him. I really rate him, but like I said earlier, you need a player who's going to score goals. Undav, I said at the start of the season, would be first choice. He's hopeless. He's another Locadia. I think
you had him didn't you have him in your team?
I had him in a draft. I didn't start with him, but yeah, he's not good enough. I can tell you that. So yeah, I mean, we were linked with strikers again in January and nearly signed quite an exciting one. Can't remember what his name was now, but yeah, we didn't. And Ferguson's the future, and Zerbi likes, he promotes the youth players as well, and I think he will stick with him. But if we had the option to sign like a marquee striker in the summer, I think we'd take it, especially if we're in Europa League, which, I make jokes about Champions League, but Europa League is achievable for us. I think we're the 6th best team in the league. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to doubt that at the moment. I mean, there's such inconsistency from, the likes of Liverpool, as we said, that, I mean, Brighton would deserve it. It's been a great season for us. I'd just like to point out, remember I was talking about Nonto not being a natural finisher? Just like to read the commentary from 1 minute in against Man United. The Italian youngster plays a 1-2 with Bruno Fernandes. And with Bruno Fernandes? What?
That can't be that. Who's writing that for the BBC? Right. Garth Crooks? Have they got Garth Crooks on commentary? It does say that. The Italian youngster plays a 1-2 with Bruno Fernandes. That's what the BBC... What's Bruno doing? And then drills an absolute thunderbolt into the bottom corner from 20 yards. There you go. That's not a natural finisher for you.
No, that's
Has any pundit in the FPL history ever criticised a player and then within minutes or seconds that player then proves them wrong? Has that ever happened?
It's good karma for you, going back on black boxes to find my my indiscretions.
That's a classic, though, isn't it? It's like, yeah, Nonto's not a natural finish. 10 seconds later, Nonto's just scored from 20 yards.
Well, yeah, I mean, he had enough chances in the last game, didn't he, against Forest?
Yeah, I'm sure it was a fluke. Must have taken a deflection. BBC have got it wrong, haven't they? Bruno Fernandes, you know,
with Fernandes.
probably a tap in. Anyway, go
on. Kane, he's on this list. Just before we move on, he's 11th though out of strikers. His XG non-penalty per 90 is lower than Havertz, for example. 0.5. Oh no, it's level with Havertz. 0.56. But yeah, I mean the stats don't scream. You know, they're not like in the 0.7, 0.8 category where it's like, oh, this guy is an absolute must-have. 0.56 is good, but it's not absolutely crazy. But you know, points per 90.
It's strange, isn't it? You expect to see him higher.
Yeah, you do. I would expect to see him higher, given his output. But yeah, it's not. He's just getting.
But I believe his accuracy and conversion is pretty much on par with what he's had previous seasons. That looks familiar, those kind of numbers. So I don't think we've seen any regression majorly in that area. It just must be, the quality of chances he's been getting just hasn't been as high as normal, I imagine. I mean, that's what that says, right? So, yeah, I mean, he's just so consistent, though, isn't he? That I fear him because he's almost certain to return almost every week, and that's what he's been like. So I don't know. I'm not going to go to him because I'm probably going to get my eye on Salah, and I don't want to make multiple transfers to get there. But I'll probably regret that. Just want to point out, Nonto does have a conversion rate of 8.3 there, and Brennan is 21.4. Just saying.
Competition between the terrible.
Oh, has Nonto just scored a second? No, I was just checking.
Congrats if you got Nonto, by the way. That's he was a proper double game week punt, wasn't he?
He was, yeah. It's lovely when
nice
that comes
when
in.
those come in. Yeah. So we're just going to cover Arsenal again quickly because obviously people are debating which Arsenal players to get. So I just thought this graphic might help. Help decide. Like I said, I was expecting Saka to feature highly on this. I've looked at Saka, Odegaard, Martinelli, and Nketiah. If we look at XGI non-penalty per 90, since the restart, it's Nketiah way on top at 0.86, Martinelli 0.52, Odegaard 0.5, and Saka 0.47. So not a lot in it between Saka, Odegaard, and Martinelli. Really, 0.5 between Saka and Martinelli? No, 0.05. So not a huge amount. In terms of chances created, Saka's highest. Odegaard's got the most big chances created at 0.69 as well. Baseline bonus, Odegaard's highest. So...
By a big margin,
By a big margin, yeah. I mean, Saka's got the penalties as well. He's got better conversion. I mean, 21%. You mentioned Saka's finishing, 21% conversion compared to Odegaard's 10.5. And Martinelli's 12.5. And then Nketiah's there at 19. It's tricky. I mean, for this double, I really like Nketiah. I think he is the number one. Is Saka number one? Probably Saka's still number one, but Nketiah not far off. If I was picking, just for this week. But I do worry about that Jesus thing longer term. So it's Saka for me. It's Saka for me still.
Yeah, I don't think you should not go Nketiah for this double. If you've only got two Arsenal players and you can get to Nketiah, I wouldn't go, I'm not going to do it because of Jesus in 4 or 5 weeks. I think that would be a mistake. Because I look at the difference between Jesus and Nketiah is a box player. He's a predator. He's a goal scorer of that traditional nature, whereas Jesus isn't, right? Jesus is someone who comes out of the box, gets involved in build-up play, links play. He doesn't... One of the criticisms we had in the early season, although he started the season well, was he had that time when he dropped off, and he just didn't seem like he was getting in the box enough. Things were coming into the box and Jesus wasn't there. He was doing too much work outside of where he could hurt opponents, whereas Nketiah doesn't do that. He's decent at holding the ball up, he's decent at linking play, but his meat and drink is in the box and he spends a lot of his time there. So the quality of chance he gets are higher.
Yeah, I mean, the two stats on this that really showcase that are shots in the box, Nketiah at 20.
Yeah.
Martinelli 13, Odegaard 10 shots in the box, for Saka 12. So he's double shots in the box, essentially. And then you look at chances created, Saka with 18, Odegaard with 16, Martinelli with 14, Nketiah with 1.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I mean. His role is to score goals. He's just been called a sniper in the chat.
Yeah.
People ask if I'm doing drugs. I'm not doing drugs. I'm blowing my nose. I wish it was as exciting as that.
Did you come back from Mexico with a package?
Package. No, definitely not. Right. Let's move on to predictions. I'm really disappointed with you, Mark.
Why, have you picked the same as you?
No,
have I played safe?
That,
have I gone
before
Lawrence?
That, you didn't get me your predictions last week.
Oh, yeah.
That means I've now predicted 28 more matches than you have. And why do I care? Because you're beating me overall.
Yeah, 53.3, the highest I've ever been.
Yeah, it's easy when you don't bloody predict any games. And this week was an awful
180
week.
matches?
This week was an awful week. I only got three right.
Well,
terrible.
You know, have another week off. Let's get back on it this week, shall we?
Awful. Okay, so these are our predictions for Gameweek 23. West Ham Chelsea. I've gone for a West Ham win.
Have you?
I don't like Chelsea. I don't know if you knew. Some people are surprised.
I thought you were impressed with their defence.
I was. I was impressed with their defence, but I think their struggle away from home. I think West Ham have just got a good result against Newcastle, and I can't really see them scoring at the moment. Chelsea. I think West Ham nick it. You've gone for a 1-1, so
I think it'd be tight. It's a London derby. Chelsea just aren't convincing me at all, and they haven't done for weeks. You don't look at Chelsea and think they're going to, knock a team over, do you? So I think 1-1. I mean, West Ham are saying a bit devoid of confidence. They got the result with Newcastle, but they need a win. And I guess maybe with my Forest hat on, I'm hoping West Ham don't win. So I've gone 1-1 there.
I've just moved the garden centre graphic down. It was in the wrong place.
Okay.
We'll come to that in a sec. Arsenal-Brentford.
Okay.
Next, I've gone for a 2-1 Arsenal. You've gone for a 2-0 Arsenal. It's been a tricky game for Arsenal in the past, isn't it, Brentford?
Yeah.
Beat them this season, beat them last season.
It's at home, though. It's the Emirates, isn't it?
So it's going to have to be a hell of a bounce back for Arsenal, but I think they've got enough to do it, obviously. But they can't afford to drop points.
Yeah, they can't. I don't look at that Everton performance and think that that's like the rot's going to set in. It was a very difficult game. Goodison Park's a cauldron. Arsenal have struggled there before. They've taken a good 11 there and struggled. They still controlled the game for me, but Everton just were very physical with them. I think they were kind of shell-shocked by the atmosphere and the physicality of Everton on the day, and they got caught at a set piece. But yeah, I don't think there's alarm bells ringing yet, and I think they'll comfortably beat Brentford.
Arsenal beat Brentford 3-0 this season.
What did you say? Did you say they struggled?
I'm thinking of United. Brentford beat United comfortably this season.
Right.
Oh, leave me alone. I'm doing drugs.
He's ill. He's not well.
I'm not ill. I'm fine. To be fair. They should. Interesting game though, because Brentford have been good and could cause another upset, but Arsenal have to get back on track. Palace Brighton next. It's the big one.
Ooh, it's the non-local derby.
The local derby.
Yeah. You've gone 2-0. You're so confident with Brighton this year, aren't you?
I can't believe you've gone for a draw. We'll beat them. I haven't even got Zaha. Zaha's the one that always scores against them. He's out.
That's very true. I don't want Palace to pick up a point. I want them to drop into the fight with us. But the local derby thing. Yeah, I hope you do win. I hope you do win 2-0, but I think Palace will get something. I think they'll grind out enough points at home to get them to their nice fixtures, and then they'll be safe. But if they lose this, they are right in it, aren't they? They are starting to get pulled into the relegation fight. So, be worried. I'll give them a point, though. I'll go.
You've got the same points then, haven't you? No?
Yeah, Forest got the same points. Crazy. Yeah. Crazy. I mean, it's not that crazy, is it?
It's crazy in the sense that I thought Palace would kick on from last year under Vieira, and I thought Forest would be in and around the relegation zone. So from them both, you both to almost be mid-table at this stage is.
Well, I wouldn't describe us as mid-table yet, particularly if Leeds win one then United.
Yeah. You're like what? You're like 11th, aren't you?
13th.
Okay, yeah, not really mid-table. Sort of mid-table. I'll say about that. Leicester Spurs. I've gone for 2-0 Spurs. You've gone for 2-2. Interesting.
Yeah.
Definitely got the goal.
Game. No Romero for Spurs. Leicester have got goals in them. I think it'll be two attacks going toe to toe. I think there'll be goals in the game. I don't trust either defence really. Lloris out for Spurs, of course, as well. Yeah, I think goals. Not good news if you're not a Kane owner, but sadly, I think he's going to return there.
That'd be good. Southampton Wolves, probably not a game. Well,
it's got to be. If that had been non-3 o'clock, that would have been Conifers, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Jones's comments were weird, weren't they?
Oh my word, weren't they? You know what he was saying there? He was saying, when I came in, I thought to myself, I couldn't ask these players to kick the opponent. So I didn't, but now I'm going to tell them to kick the opponent, basically, which is a very shortened version of that. Because Jones has got that reputation for making nasty, aggressive, hard to beat teams, which I thought is what he would come in and do. And he hasn't really done that. And I think that's what he was kind of saying. He was like, I haven't stuck to my way of playing. I haven't stuck to my kind of ethics and methods and systems because I thought I couldn't apply them to Premier League players in front of Premier League fans. But bugger them, I'm going to do that now. So looking forward to that, Southampton fans. That's going to be... well, I guess if you get some results, they won't care, but it's not going to be pretty if that's what he does. Is he going to last, though?
I mean, you're forgetting the key bit where he said he was one of the best coaches in Europe.
He said at the time, when he was at Luton, he was one of the best coaches for playing that brand of football, I think. I think that was in his defence, that's been misquoted.
Well, he said statistically there weren't many better than me in Europe.
There you go.
In terms of aggression, clean sheets, defending, balls in the box and XG.
I think he's just going on aggression and number of yellow cards. when Luton played Forest, 9 of their 11 got booked. And one of them got sent off. I've never seen that in a match where 9 of the starting 11 got booked. I mean, it's crazy. I think even the goalkeeper got booked for time wasting, and their centre back got sent off. And I remember I had the doors of my house at the back of the house open, and I was watching it live on TV. I wasn't at the game, and I was swearing, effing and jeffing so loud. And when the player got sent off, I said an unmentionable thing, and. About 2 weeks later, my neighbour said, we heard you the other day. Was it a good game, that game against Luton? I was like, no, not really. Nathan Jones wound me up so much that day. So I was expecting the same for him to bring that to Southampton. He hasn't really done that. They haven't looked like a team who are scrapping and fighting and tugging on players' shirts and doing tactical fouls and taking bookings. They haven't really been that, but I think what he's saying is that's what we're going to be now. So let's see. I don't think he's got the players to do that, though. The players, they are a cultured team. They play decent football. Under Ralph, I thought they were, at times, a really nice team to watch. You know, when Nathan Redmond and players like that were there and playing well. Southampton go down. It would have been better to go down with Ralph, I think, rather than go down taking bookings and tactical fouls, but we'll see.
They're going down.
You think?
Absolutely. They're. I mean, them and Bournemouth, I just think are just so far and beyond the worst teams in the league that they've got no chance. So
yeah, fair enough.
Bournemouth, Newcastle next. We've both gone for a 2-0. Newcastle. Like I said, I thought Bournemouth had chances, but it's going to be what relegates them. They can't take them, and they can't score. So this should be a routine win for Newcastle.
I see it like that. It's goals at Bournemouth flat. They got new players coming. They haven't, they might need time to gel. They've got some good pace up front, but Newcastle are too strong defensively, and they'll have too much up front, I think.
Yep. Then it's the rematch of what's going on right now. Leeds versus United. I've gone for a 3-0 United. Obviously, we did these predictions without knowing the score tonight, which would have helped. You've gone for a 2-1. Apparently, Leeds are just getting injuries left, right and centre. Nonto's gone off injured. Bamford's down, which is probably the least surprising thing ever as well. So a couple more injuries for them. Won't be great. I've gone for 3-0. Is Casemiro back? Is he just missing one game?
No, he's got 3 out, isn't he?
Oh, he's got 3. Is he 3?
Yeah, it's violent conduct.
Oh, he grabbed him by the... Yeah. That was a weird sending off, though, wasn't it? Because
he grabbed him by the lapels.
Yeah, they showed
was
a
it by
different
the
angle.
throat?
He was... Yeah, it's a bit strange. Okay. Well, anyway, I've gone for a big United win.
I've gone 2-1. Yeah. United to score a couple and a sublime finish from Nonto, the natural finisher, to pull one back for Leeds. But
Nonto's still on, but Sinister and Strauch have gone off.
Right. Nonto would be the biggest loss. I think I think they can recover. I mean, they've got options Leeds up front, so I don't think that will be a blow. But if they lost Bamford with Rodrigo suspended and Rodrigo's injured, isn't he? Sorry. So if they lose Bamford and they lose Nonto to injury, they're struggling then. But we'll have to see if Bamford comes out for the second half. I need United to equalise. This would be a terrible result for Forest.
I'd take it, I think, with not having Fernandes.
All right.
I've got my Rashford points. I've got a decent green arrow. I think
I'm all right, Jack. Pull up the ladder.
Absolutely, screw on else. All these people who were like, "Oh, I hope you will have green arrows every week." No,
the true colours are shown. Fair enough.
City Villa. I've gone for 2-1. City, you've gone for a 2-0.
Yeah, routine, I think, sadly. I'd like to think Emery can turn up and put up a barrier and City would struggle. I think they might. I might struggle to break them down, but 2-0 is the most likely result, I think. So I've gone for that because I don't see Villa scoring. I mean, Watkins has been a little better recently. He's looked a bit lively, but I don't know. I think that's a clean... You'd hope that's a clean sheet if you're going into this with City defenders, and I think that we expect Haaland to score, don't we? So we're going 2-0, I think it's enough.
Commiserations to Florence Sandu, who bought in Casemiro for the double game week.
Oh, shocker that, isn't it? Because his data's been good. His data suggests that wasn't such a wild...
Jaddy and I was saying he actually looks all right, and if you can't afford Fernandes, he might be a good pick. Garden Centre game. I've gone for the Merseyside derby.
No Charlie Dimmock, I noticed. No Charlie Dimmock for this, but never mind.
No. And also,
Merseyside
it can't really be a Garden Centre game because it's 8 o'clock.
At 8 o'clock at night.
Monday.
Do you know any 24-hour garden centres?
Take away the Merseyside derby element to it, though, and this is a... I mean, can you take away the Merseyside derby element?
Surely the Garden Centre game is Bournemouth-Newcastle. Surely. What have you done here?
I've gone for 0-0. I think it's going to be...
Do you?
I think it's going to be a boring match.
Could be. Sean would take that, wouldn't he? He'd be loving that if they come out with a 0-0.
You're probably right. It probably is Bournemouth-Newcastle. I'm going to stick with it.
I mean, I don't think Everton will turn up there with much ambition. So you could well be right.
If they play like they did against Arsenal, which they will, they're going to cause Liverpool defence.
They won't play with the same intensity because Everton at Goodison Park and Everton away are two very different things.
Yeah, but just dumping the ball up to Calvert-Lewin, it caused so many problems and set pieces.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, if Everton turn up at Anfield and play the way they did at Goodison Park, I'm worried because I would have expected that day one from Daesh at Goodison Park with the faithful there screaming them on. Away from home, Everton have been pretty poor. So if he transforms their away form as well, I am really worried. I don't expect that. I do think they can nick a goal because Liverpool are just conceding, as we've seen in the data. But I'd like to think Liverpool have too much for their defence. I mean, Tarkowski and Cody, they're solid defenders, but against the pace, Gakpo, Darwin, Salah, surely there's goals there for Liverpool, I would say. But
well, you say that, but
we said that all the time.
Said that all year. I'll tell you what won't be the Garden Centre game, and they are showing this game, aren't they? Even though it's a rearranged.
They are.
Match,
they are showing. Yeah. Some of us are going to be lucky enough to be there. So.
Notice I didn't get invited, choosing your son over me.
I know, what am I thinking?
I mean, it's going to be a hell of a game though, isn't it? Arsenal City.
Well,
first of two. They haven't played each other yet this season. It's going to be good. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, no, I think that I'm expecting it to be a few goals in the game. I hope that both teams don't just manage that. I mean, I guess, would a draw be good enough for City? I guess it would be when they're playing. They've still got them to play at home. So maybe City won't go there and think it's a must win. It's just a must not lose, isn't it? So it could be tactical. There might be a few goals, but I'd like to think.
I think Arsenal have to play to win. They have to win. They have to put down a marker and win that game.
I hope so. I really hope that's what they do, because if they do, I think this is the time to play City. There's definitely trouble there. There's definitely problems. City at the back and Ederson are in question, aren't they? I think they've got mistakes there. And under the pressure that Arsenal can put on them, I do think that they could win this game, and I really hope they do. I mean, it'd be great, especially for Billy, because it's his birthday and he wants to see Arsenal win. So it'd be. Come on, boys! If Pep ruins it, and he said to me, he's really excited about going, but he's really worried. No, Billy. Well, no, Pep's not excited about going to Arsenal, is he? He shouldn't be. Yeah, Pep rang me. He said, I'm really excited about going. I can't do his accent, can I? Why am I speaking like a Pakistani? What's going on?
Oh, have you got us cancelled again?
Oh, dear me. Lost it now. Yeah, Billy's really excited to go in. And I said to him, guess what? guess what? I've managed to get tickets for the Man City game. He's gone, that sounds great, but we might lose. I'm like, yeah, that is a point. So I really hope the City don't beat us. But,
I mean, you can't not go to games just because you think you might lose, though.
No, I mean,
you wouldn't go to any.
Oh dear, yeah. I've enjoyed tonight's stream. It's been fun.
Oh, good. Yeah. I'm glad. We still got a bit to go. We're not done yet.
Not done the 2 hours yet. Keep going.
We got to an hour. I thought there's no way we're going to do 2 hours tonight.
I'll try not to do any more accents and get us pulled from YouTube. Okay.
Imagine that. I just get a message from them being like, "Yeah, we've had to pull the stream because Mark is impersonating Pakistani men."
I apologise to our Pakistani audience. I was trying to do a pep at. All right. I mean, was it?
I don't think that's a defence.
Never mind.
Right, let's carry on. Moving on swiftly.
Compose yourself.
Captain Matrix this week.
Yeah. Oh, you've kept that going, have you? Even though Haaland's going to be captain.
Yeah, because I
week.
think it's quite interesting. Right. I think this week it's not a no-brainer decision as we thought it might be. I think Saka has entered into the conversation. I think Nketiah is potentially in the conversation when you consider his stats. Yeah. As well. I'm 60-40 Saka over Haaland.
Are you? Damn, I had visions of tonight and me going, I'm thinking of Captain Saka over Haaland, and you going, oh, you idiot, why you want to do that? And instead of that, you've come early. You've gone early with it.
I can still say that if you want.
Yeah, well, I mean, by all means. I'm sure there's people in the comments going to say it. But they'll say it to us both. Yeah, why are we thinking like that? Tell me why you're thinking like that.
Well, I've predicted more goals for Arsenal across those 2 games than I have for City. I mean, you think Haaland's going to be more involved in the goals that they score. I just think because I think Arsenal are going to beat City, that is what's swaying me towards going for an Arsenal player. It's just how much more does Haaland outscore Saka by in that first game, which I think he probably does. Because I think if I can get through that first game and Saka is like on par.
Oh, yeah. I agree.
Then I back Saka in that second fixture.
I think Saka in that second fixture will be a better player to have, to captain, I agree. Is there a chance that Haaland doesn't get the 90 against Villa given that they go to Arsenal midweek?
Another consideration as well. Yeah, it's a big game.
I mean, you could say that about Saka at Brentford, but I think he's probably more likely to get the 90. We're stupid, aren't we, even considering this? I mean, there's people in the analytics crew now just rolling their eyes and tweeting as we speak how idiotic it is that we're even considering not captaining Haaland. And of course, all the data suggests we should go with him. All the common sense does as well. But I guess in my situation, I'm 2.3 million. Do I go and ruin my progress by going against Haaland? I mean, and we've seen in weeks where people have gone against him, he goes and gets hat-tricks and stuff. So he could do that against Villa.
I went against him with bloody he who should not be named.
Matoma.
For Delia's...
Delia's on the floor by now anyway. So. I am tempted, especially where my rank is where it's at. It's almost like a Hail Mary, isn't it? It's like, let's do it, come on. What's the worst that can happen? Well, we know what the worst can happen. He can get 30 points.
I know. Like I said, I'm 60-40. If I say I'm going to captain someone and I'm like 80-90%, then I more often than not will do it. But I can't say with certainty that I will do it this time. But I'm definitely tempted. I like the 2 home games as well. Like Rashford was a success because he did well in that first one. Yeah, too. But I think Haaland against Villa is a good one. Anyway, it's tricky. If you're looking for differential, I think you've got Mahrez and Nketiah as differentials, but I think the majority of us are going to be going for, well, the vast majority are going for Haaland. Maybe a few brave ones. In 24, it's easy. It's Haaland versus your boys. He got a hat-trick against them before, but, Forest have been good at home.
Fortress, City ground. Yeah.
You could also go for Rashford versus Leicester, Saka, Villa, Kane versus West Ham. But then in 25, we've now got a decision to make because Haaland's got an absolutely incredible game against Bournemouth. But Saka,
you go double. I
think you always go for a double, right?
I mean, like Haaland away is a different proposition to Haaland at home for a start, and you've got Saka and Salah on a double. You've got to go a double player. Yeah. So in which case you either go for Saka or Salah. Yeah. I think your differential is maybe Núñez if you really want the chaos. Imagine Núñez as a triple captain. Well, it'll be fun, wouldn't it? It would be fun to do that, but
I don't think it would be. People keep describing Núñez as fun.
Yeah,
I just don't see it.
It's fun when others go with him. I hope someone in the community
yeah.
captains Darwin, so I can have fun watching Darwin. He'll have 10 shots on goal over those 2 games, won't he?
It's fun when others do it.
Right.
That's something.
Well, it makes it sound like I'm reveling in other people's misery, but I don't. Well, yeah. I really don't. I've had too much misery myself this season.
Don't make me get out the blackmail folder I've got on you, Mark, because I've got it.
Have you run out of hard drive space?
Pretty much. It's all in the cloud, unlimited storage. It's not going anywhere. Captain table since the restart. So these are the player stats. Haaland with an XGI non-penalty per 90 of 0.8, which is you haven't sorted this correctly. Look at that.
Who hasn't?
Okay. You haven't.
Oh, I thought I did. Oh, you must have
one job. One job on this stream was to do the captaincy tables.
Oh, maybe I didn't do the second table. Yeah, okay. I'll do it now.
You said it had headers, didn't you? That's why it hasn't sorted those. Anyway, Nketiah is actually ahead of Haaland on this, as we talked about earlier. But Haaland has 7 goals since the restart to Nketiah's 4, and there's a better big chance per 90 of 1.95 to 1.17. So to me, the stats still point to Haaland as well. I mean, you can look at some of the others. I mean, Saka is right down there. I mean, Haaland's XGI non-penalty per 90 is nearly double what Saka's is, which is a concern.
Yeah, I mean, this suggests we'd be absolute lunatics to
it does, doesn't it?
Consider Haaland.
Maybe
but
I'm
think on. Now. Yeah.
Okay, that's disappointing.
By the minute, we'll be 10.90
teams. Again, you haven't sorted the first one properly. In fact, this table's a mess, Mark.
What a disgrace!
Look at this.
What do you mean? Why are you blaming me when you're hosting for that? Oh, it's unbelievable.
I just thought, I didn't even think to check. I thought
liberties.
Anyway, what do we do? What do we do with this one? Basically, I think the key thing here is who's worse out of Villa and Brentford.
Yes, that is it. Let's focus on that because
Villa are worse.
Easy.
They concede a XG non-penalty per 90 of 1.65.
Yeah. So again,
compared to Brentford,
Haaland captain, are you still 50-50? Are you going towards Haaland by the minute? It's just
60-40 Haaland now after these stats.
Yeah, the only reason we're not, just not even thinking about it and going Haaland is because we're bored.
Yeah,
that's it.
Really. Yeah,
we can't play like that.
I mean, it's bored, but it's also a bit about trying to find. City haven't been good. Like, they weren't good against Spurs. There's problems. There's unrest.
Yeah.
There's issues. So if you're going to go against Haaland, it almost feels like it's got to be now. But there is still the chance that none of it matters and the players just
this is
smash Villa. That's the key, isn't it?
As I was saying earlier in the show, like, how much stock do you put in the fact that there could be off-field stuff that get into the pep and get into the team? How much stock do you put in that? If you think that that's becoming a bigger factor by the week. I mean, there's all this financial stuff going on as well. Financial stuff. Planet FPL probably doing 6 podcasts on it, and I go, there's all this financial stuff there. That's
I think
we
should
in-depth coverage.
To cover.
Yeah, I know. I'll call it financial stuff. James will cover it. James and Serge will cover it. But yeah, that stuff going on behind the scenes is going to be playing on Pep's mind. There's question marks over, is Pep looking to move on? Are his days, is he calling an end to his time at Man City because of the troubles? It's going to be a really tough time for City off the pitch, because that is going to be a tough, bit of scrutiny to go through. There's no question. Is it going to affect the players and the team? Possibly, but how much? I mean, how much do you want to put into that? The numbers suggest just go Haaland.
I wish Saka's stats were a bit better.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, we'll see. Right, teams. So this is my team. I have made my 2 moves. I actually made my 2 moves on Friday night.
Early transfers?
Friday night, though, before the games at the weekend. Because I had the exact funds to do Kulusevski and Shaw to get Saka and Zinchenko. And if I'd waited, I would have had to have got White. And I wanted Zinchenko. And I thought, I could just risk it. And luckily, it looks okay, and I haven't got any injuries, touch wood, so far. So I've got Kepa in goal, double Newcastle defence, Trippier and Botman, Zinchenko, De Bruyne, Saka captain, which is looking less and less likely as this stream goes on. Rashford, Odegaard, Matoma, Haaland and Kane. I don't want to toot my own horn. I don't think this team could look any better.
No. Right, really? That's bold,
I am so happy with this team, which means I'm definitely going to get a red arrow, but
Wow.
I really like it.
No, it's good. I'd like to say you had a dig at my bench. You've got Martial,
don't look at the bench.
Breno who's not playing, Patterson who's cropped.
Don't worry about the bench. Yeah, why has Bueno lost his place?
It's just Lopetegui's just moving stuff around, isn't he? Yeah. I like it. I like the team, definitely. I mean, I guess you surely have got problems with 25 though, because you've got 2 Newcastle players, you've got 2 United players, you've got 1 Brighton player, so you've got 5 not playing and no bench. So you're in real trouble for 25.
That's Future as his problem.
Right. Future has his problem. So you're not okay. So it looks great for this week. Doesn't look so good in a couple of game weeks' time. So
don't worry about it.
All right, okay.
We'll cover that in episode 95.
All right, okay. All right. I'm not gonna. I look forward to seeing the hits.
It was one of the reasons I was happy to get rid of Shaw as well, because getting rid of Shaw has kind of got rid of that problem for me a little bit. But yeah, I know there's issues coming. Don't worry about it. It's fine. I see to get the points now.
Yeah, all right. No, fair enough. That's very admirable. Yeah.
Your team looks good as well. You've got Ederson in goal. Trippier, Ake, Shaw. Double City defence is interesting. Rashford, Fernandes, Saka, Odegaard, Mitrovic against your boys. Haaland captain and Nketiah.
Yeah, I like it. It's good. I mean, it's all right for this week. I don't want to have Mitrovic at home to Forest. I don't like that, but I'll have to take it and grin and bear it and hope that the compensation, should Fulham beat us, is that I get some points off Mitrovic. I mean, the 2 City defenders, it's not great. But I tell you what, if you'd have gone a couple of months ago, I'm going to go into a City double game week with 2 defenders rather than have double City attack. You go, you're mad. Why would you not have double City attack? But at the moment, it's really hard to find a second City midfielder that you'd want. I guess De Bruyne or
you can't do
Mahrez.
Fernandes up to De Bruyne then?
No, I can't, and I wouldn't do it. I don't think. I wouldn't take hits to do it.
You can't anyway.
No, I can't. If I had just Ederson in goal and I didn't have Ake, I probably would do Bruno to Mahrez or De Bruyne, but I wouldn't take a hit. I'm not going to change that to take out Ake and get a hit and go Bruno to Mahrez. I just wouldn't think about it. Normally, you would really be worried about what City's output will be over these 2 games. But at the moment, given that 10 minutes ago we were thinking about not captaining Haaland, I'm not going to take hits to get 2 City attackers. So it could work out. I think the Villa game should be a clean sheet. I'd expect one, and then that should cover the attacking returns. I don't see City beating. It would be odd, I think, if City went and beat Villa 5-0 and there was goals galore and points everywhere. They don't look like a team who are on the verge of doing that to anybody. So let's see. That could be famous last words.
Can I just say, though, you have 5 players not playing in 25 and Doherty, who's in Spain.
Yep. So I'm in trouble too. But I've got 2. But I'm rolling my transfers, whereas you haven't.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the difference. So I can get to game week 25 with a full team, but I'll probably take a hit because one of my transfers is going to be Fernandes to Salah, I think, next week. So I'll probably have to use a transfer to. I don't know. I think I can get 10 or 11 without taking a hit. I think I'll have to go back to Shepherd's Pie Man and see if that's the case. But pretty sure.
Sorry, Peter. That's your name now. Shepherd's Pie Man as well. That's a new thing. That's great. Excellent. Right.
Marvel's going to nick that one, aren't they?
But the way they're going, they probably will. They're getting images. I did actually watch the new Doctor Strange on the plane. It was good, quite good actually.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Blackbox Leagues. Shout out to Mark Bleakley, who's still in first. 1,502 points. That is a lot of points. Andrew Shaw in second with 1,495. It's not too far behind, only 7 points. Tejas Joshi is in third. Ali Jahangirov is in fourth. Tom Ape Daly is in fifth. Barry Wells in sixth. Alex Keating in seventh. Svenung Arnason in eighth. Ava Dew in ninth. And Fred Foley is in 10th. Congratulations, all of you. You're absolutely smashing it. If anyone is listening to this and hasn't joined the Black Box League yet, please do. The code is 3V7DQ9, and we want to win it again.
We must catch slippers, right?
Are we in the top 5 yet? I don't think we are.
No, we're not. I don't know where we are. I haven't worked it out. But we won this last year, so, pressure's on.
Is it any surprise, though, that people who listen to us for advice and are in our league aren't doing well?
You're playing us down. We're on a good run. We're on a good run. I think someone actually did work out that if I did halve my rank every week, I would be in the top 100 by the end. So there you go. Not far off.
Oh, nice. So, that's
not going to happen.
It's quite depressing that you wouldn't win it.
Thanks.
Mark Blinkley is 24th in the world, by the way.
Is he? So, go on, Mark. Keep making us look terrible. Go on.
Absolutely excellent. Gameweek 39. Plug for that.
Yes.
We've got a date. So it's the 3rd of June, 2023. Money is being raised to support Street Child United. The North are going to be going all out for revenge.
It's going to be bitter. The rivalry is bitter, isn't it? Bitter.
It is bitter because they were the favourites. No one gave us a chance. We went and won it. Our best player arguably our best player, Peter's actually one of our. We've got a very good team.
Shepherd's Pie Man.
Shepherd's Pie Man is arguably our best player. Iceman has broken his leg.
You're joking. That's a key injury.
He's our captain as well.
Oh, my word. I didn't know that. Has he been nobbled? Has someone from the North nobbled
He slipped on some ice, which is so ironic given his name as well. It's fantastic. It's not fantastic. It's awful. But he's been told he has a chance of featuring. So,
what's this kind of Steve Cooper team news?
Yeah.
We're not ruling him out yet.
Not ruling him out. Yeah, we'll believe them to see it.
Oh, fantastic!
We've actually got a friendly at the end of this month as well, which I'm hoping to be all right for. I'm like I said, I'm struggling a bit with. I think lugging a massive bag around Mexico for 2 weeks has caused me a few problems. But
dearie me.
Anyway, enough about that. If you're interested, put this date aside. Come to the Castle Vale Stadium in Birmingham. It's a laugh just watching people kick the ball around.
It's going to be amazing. The North are going to come out and be.
You coming this year?
I want to come because the North are going to come out and be Nathan Jones on your arse. They're going to kick lumps out of you, basically. So I want to come and see that. I don't know if I'll watch you want to hobble around with a hernia, but yeah, I would love to come. So I'll see if I get a pass for that. But
so there's different ways you can kind of get involved. You can either come watch the game, which would be amazing. You can just give some money on the website gw39northvsouth.co.uk. And support the charity of Street Child United, or get involved in the Gaffer game as well, because it's my chance to captain myself, which I did last year, and I was 3 minutes off a clean sheet and didn't get those 3 minutes. So, you can play fantasy football, North versus South as well. But it's a great charity. It's a great day, a great night out at the end of it. So yeah, if you're around on the Saturday the 3rd of June, here's your notice. Get involved. Mark, that's it.
That is it. I really enjoyed that.
Good.
That was great. It was good to be back, and I've missed doing this with you.
2-0 leads.
Oh, that's not good news, is it? Did you have to end on that kind of? Did you have to end on that kind of note? This is a terrible result for my fantasy team and my my real team.
As always,
dear. He was Nonto involved as well. He's really taken it out of me. It was. I really enjoyed that. It was really good. Obviously, we've got to say, hit the subs, hit the likes. I haven't got the Andy button to press because I haven't shown you how to do that either. So we'll bring all the bells and whistles back soon when I've spent some time with her. Yep. Other than this stream, I try and avoid spending any time with you, don't I, basically? So it just means I'm going to have to.
You do actually, because you were supposed to come to my scout leaving thing on Monday, and instead I messaged you on Friday. This is Mark for everyone listening, right? I messaged Mark on Friday
expose me
and say, "Are you coming on Monday?" And you're like, "Yep, I've got permission from Pip. It's going to be great. We have a great time. Fantastic." You then messaged me on Saturday on my birthday, just saying, "Yeah, can't come Monday now. I'm doing a podcast." And I'm like, no happy birthday. I had to wait about 11 hours before you finally messaged me happy birthday.
That is true. I did think during the day, like, maybe I was a bit cold there with that. So I wished him happy birthday.
Also, the other story I've got about you is...
careful. Where are you going here?
I had messages from you after your brilliant Black Box with Luke. I was on the beach and you were messaging me like, as I'm really struggling to get the podcast up. I'm having problems. I'm like, Mark, I don't care. I'm on the beach. But I'm really struggling. I don't know if I'm going to do it tonight. Yeah, Mark, I don't care. It's fine. Message after message.
I can't remember that. Was I doing that? It's not like me at all.
No, I know. If only people knew what it was like behind the scenes. Amazing stuff.
We love each other, really, don't we?
We do. Wouldn't be the same without without it. Right, okay, that's it. We will see you again next week. Thanks everyone for.
Hold on, you might not, because I'm at the City Arsenal game, so we need to talk about that. We need to see when we're going to. Well, so
well, to be fair, we can't record. I want to watch that game, so
and you wouldn't want to begrudge Billy his birthday treat, would you? Think of the children, right? So, this is what he's like, the darker side of Az. There you go.
If he doesn't want to go because he's worried about losing, then I'll happily take his ticket. Maybe we do it. Maybe do Tuesday.
You would, wouldn't you? You'd take it out of his little 11-year-old hand, wouldn't you? You'd snatch it like.
Oh no, we can't do Tuesday.
There you go.
Not around. We'd have to do. I don't know.
Let's consult our diaries live on the stream. This is the content they want.
We'll do it at some point. I don't know when it'll be, but
yeah. There you go. Great. Yeah, tune in at some point. We don't know when it'll be.
Good. Right. Smash the likes. Smash the subs. Thank you everyone for watching, and we will be back maybe next week.
Good night.